And now 10 years later, it's not Cumulus. It's the wonderful, beautiful combination of John and Margot Katzimatidis, who I love dearly. Chad Lopez, thank God, is still here. He's been the genius the whole way. You know, Chad, he was a guy that hired me when a lot of people said, I don't know, Chad. The guy's got a tremendous amount of talent, but he's had issues, he's had problems, and Chad said, I don't care, I'm bringing him back. So thank you for that, Chad Lopez. And so now we're here in these brand new, beautiful studios for about 5 years now. And it is the morning show, Sid and Friends in the Morning, no longer Bernie and Sid middays, or, of course, Bernie and Sid in the morning. So we've got a 7-hour extravaganza today. It begins with me right now, obviously, ends with a young lady whose mom and dad escaped from Iran during the revolution. She joined us on this show for the first time last week. Her name is Ghazal Mizrahi. She's terrific. And she will end this show at about 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock with God Bless America. But before we get to Ghazal, we've got an unbelievable guest list this morning. We will talk to the aforementioned Chad Lopez. We will talk to the great John and Margot Katzimatidis. And some of the other names that you'll hear along the way, and they'll be here live too, include Bo Dietl, Peter King. Coming up at 8:30 this morning, President Donald J. Trump. I got a kick out of it this morning. You know, the White House every day online puts out the president's schedule. It's public. You can see it. And like Joe Biden, for example, when he was president, it was a blank piece of paper. He didn't do anything. But Trump, he's got like 90 things on there. So if you actually go to the president's White House schedule today, it says 8:30 interview with Sid and Friends in the morning on WABC in New York. So President Trump will be here at 8:30. That's going to be a big one. Then right after him, his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, will join us at about 9:15. And then you'll hear from Sean Hannity, Bruce Blakeman, the amazing men's designer, Joseph Abboud, Imus news guy, Charles McCord. People love Charles. I still love Charles. He'll be here. Mark Levin, Bill O'Reilly, and in the 12 o'clock hour, talking about Bernard McGurk, his beautiful widow, who I love dearly, his wife, Carol McGurk. So this promises to be a very emotional and terrific anniversary show. And again, I want to thank John and Margot and Chad for allowing me to do this. I wanted to make this a big deal, and they made it a big deal. We are live at Stage 77. There's about 5 or 6 people here right now, and certainly I recognize Norman Seabrook, a dear friend of mine. I'd like to see President Trump pardon him one day. I'm going to get that done. No, he won't. And Robert Pearl, who's a terrific guy. He's a writer. He comes to all our events. One of these guys here made the trip from Tampa. I think his name is Milton. I was told this morning that he drove all the way from Tampa to be here this morning, which is both really lovely and insane. But thank you for doing that. His girlfriend's a nurse, or his wife, I should say. Maybe both, I don't know. So she couldn't make it. Jennifer, I did cut a video for Jennifer, but that's very, very cool. Thank you so much. By the time the show is over, I'll introduce all of you fine people that are showing up today. My son will be here, Gabriel, in the 7 o'clock hour. His good buddy, Christian. And like I said, a whole bunch of friends and family and some of the famous people you hear on this show all the time will be in these studios. I do want to thank this morning. Noam, are you with me?
I am. Yeah, I'm right here.
So last night, we all stayed in the city. Me and Lewis came into New York City together on Sunday during the worst part of the snowstorm because we were nervous we wouldn't be here for the shows on Monday and Tuesday. And we had our reliable guy, Gene, who's been driving me and Lou to work for about a year and a half, but driving me to work for 7 years. In fact, Gene is going to get my son Gabriel this morning. He drove us during the worst part of this snowstorm. It was awful. You couldn't see. There were cars lined up all over the side of the road, but we made it in. So the first night we were here, I talked about this yesterday, Lou and I had a really nice dinner together at a place called Foxy John's. No, it's not one of those places. It's just a nice little bar on 48th Street. And we watched the Patriots and the Broncos and had a nice dinner. Went to bed early. In fact, I was back in my hotel room to watch the Seahawks beat the Rams and did the show yesterday. So we decided yesterday that being that we're all staying in the city and Justin Ellick lives in the city, we were going to do a show dinner, right? Me, Justin, Lewis, and Noam. And we did it. Went to a place. We started at 2 other places that were closed Monday night in New York City. I think we ended up at a place called The Perfect Pint. Is that right, Lewis?
That is the place, yes.
And you've been there before, right?
Yes. I think Justin and I have both been there.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was a great dinner. We laughed for 2 hours. You know, look, I've been very fortunate during my career to work with some very talented people. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, obviously, Scott Kaplan. You heard Scott in the open. He gave me my very, very first ever opportunity in the late 1990s at Sportsline down in Florida. But even when I went back to Florida, when the fan fired me, hung out, my guys down there were Steve Zemak. He may be listening right now, my producer, Eric Lengel, my board op. Those guys were great. And that show was a really good show. For a local Florida show on a rinky-dink sports station, I was getting almost the same guests I get here. And it was great. And it was that show that enabled me to get the opportunity to come back to New York and work at WABC. But this crew that I've got right now, and again, this is no disrespect to anybody else I've ever worked with, anybody, Imus, Joe Beningo, Jody McDonald, Bernie McGurk, Scott Kaplan, Craig Carton, no disrespect. This crew that I've got right now is the best I've ever had. This is the best show I've ever done, we've ever done. Lou Ruffino, I believe, is the greatest at that position in the history of radio. And look, he spent 25 years with Imus, and I don't care how much you hate Imus, and we all hate Imus, trust me. Imus is one of the greats. You know, they write the book. He's going to be 1, 2, or 3. It's up to you. You want Limbaugh, you want Howard Stern. That's fine, but Imus an all-time great. And Lou worked with Imus all those years, and I got to tell you, this guy has the best radio instincts. He's so smart. He's funny. His impressions are outrageous. His President Trump is as good as anybody. F you, Alec Baldwin. His music taste is incredible, and he's just a dear, dear friend. And then you get Justin Ellick, who was a young kid working weekends, I believe, here when he first got here. And now he's elevated himself to produce one of the greatest shows in the country, and he is a terrific worker. This kid comes here in the middle of the night, young guy, single guy, good-looking, comes in the middle of the night, works his ass off, stays throughout the day. I think he does Greg Kelly's show too, like Lou. And then he has to go home and go to bed. He's great. And then Noam. I tell Ben Meverak this all the time. I know Ben's listening right now. The best news guy in New York is Noam Layden. He's the best, and we've got him. He's funny. He's really smart. And last night during our dinner, where Noam and Justin and Lou and myself had a lot of good laughs and just celebrated each other, the bill came. It was not cheap. It was not cheap. And Noam Layden, of all people, this one I would have bet against, okay? Noam Layden paid the bill.
What?
All of it. You wouldn't even let me split the bill with you.
Wait a minute.
Why would you?
I paid the bill last night?
Yeah, you did.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Seriously?
forgot?
Like, because you were plowing me with beers, all right.
Yeah, I know. You had a bunch of beers. But
and
you
when
did.
did that happen? I have no memory of paying the bill.
You paid the bill, and I
You're
begged you. I'm
kidding
like,
me. Oh my
let me
God.
split
How
it with
much
you.
was
You're like, it was so nice. Now, of course, he's being funny, but he actually said, I love you. I love this show. It's my pleasure. And it was really sweet. I mean, more important than paying the bill, which was very generous, very generous. Seriously, was just a great time we had together. So when you hear this show, it translates to the air. We actually like each other off the air. Should I not say that, guy? Should I?
No, that is exactly what you were walking around at some moment. Well, a couple of moments because you were on the phone, and then we were talking, and we definitely. I think I said, well, the reason we have such a good time is because we genuinely love working with each other, and I'll say it, we love each other. We are close, and we all do a good job, I think.
No, you think. First of all, you all do a great job.
Okay, and it starts, of course, you are the best, and you have a good team, and we take from you, and it works great, and I'm having the most fun I think I've had in all the years I've worked.
And that says a lot because, again, you were with Imus when Imus was at the very, very top. He was the king of New York, and a lot of people now call me that, but he really was, and you were an integral part of that show, a huge part. So to say you're having your most fun right now is a very big statement from Lou Ruffino, and it goes to show you.
No more Sunday scaries from me, actually.
Yeah, those are the worst. Sunday nights, me, Lou, Bernard, we'd literally get sick, physically sick, because we got to see Don Imus at like 5 o'clock the next morning. But those days are gone. You're going to hear a lot of Imus today on this show because that's where it all started for me. Actually, not true. It started with Scott Kaplan in 1998 in Fort Lauderdale, but we were at one point early in my career, late 1990s, doing exclusively sports. Scott and I were syndicated by two different syndication companies, one being Sports Fan Radio Network. At the time, they had people like JT the Brick, if you know that name, and the Fabulous Sports Babe. And we were on about 70 markets. And then Joel Hollander stepped in from Westwood One, put us on about 80 markets. We were a pretty big deal. And then we were traded literally in exchange for advertising because Sportsline wanted to advertise their fantasy products. WNEW here in New York needed a morning show. They were both CBS properties. And they said, here's the deal. We've got Opie and Anthony. We've got the radio chick. We've got Ron and Fez and Don and Mike. We don't have a morning show. We'll take Scott and Sid as long as you advertise on their show the fantasy product. So we were traded literally for advertising, me and Scott. Got to New York in 2000. And in 2000, don't forget, Howard Stern was still on terrestrial radio. So was Don Imus. You had, what were their guys at the PLJ? They were big at the time. Scott and Todd. They were a big deal. Jim Kerr. So all these guys were still on terrestrial radio. Here come these two Jewish doofuses out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We couldn't compete, and we got murdered. And eventually Scott moved on, and they put Craig Horton in there with me, believe it or not, 26 years ago. That didn't work, and I was on the way back to Florida. I thought my career was basically over. And WFAN called and said, we like you. I said, what? You do? Mark Chernoff and Lee Davis and what was her name again? Was it Fitzgerald? Connie?
Connie, yes.
Yep. Good job, Lou. Connie Fitzgerald. And they brought me in. And I remember the first conversation with Chernoff was, listen, we can't pay you what you were making at WNEW, but what we'll do is we'll let you do sports on Imus. That was some reward. And then there's this new station starting in New York. No one knows about it yet. I go, really? He goes, yeah, George Steinbrenner bought it. He's starting it. It's going to be called the Yes Network. And he goes, Susan Waldman, who's doing the midday show right now with Jody McDonald, she's going to leave and go work for George at the Yes Network. When she does that, we're going to put you in middays. I said, okay, let's do it. So I did about 6 months just doing sports on Imus. That was a horror show. I got fired twice. And then eventually, Mark Chernoff, true to his word, did put me in there for Susan Waldman. That was WFAN. The rest was history. That was a 4-year run. Felt like 40 years. And I was again fired. Ended up back in South Florida for 11 years until I got the call in 2016 to come back to New York. And again, a lot of people didn't want me back. Don Imus, he was at the very top of the list. He did not want me back. He's like, you guys are making a huge mistake. All you guys out there, they're like, you should thank Imus. No thanks. He wanted Mike Lupica to do the midday show, not Sid and Bernie. He wanted Mike Lupica. So did Craig Schwab. So did just about everybody at Cumulus. And the folks had stepped up for me and Bernie with Chad Lopez. I got to give Curtis Sleeva credit. You know, I think what he's done the last couple of months is pretty grotesque. You know, not my fault. You got 7%. You can't blame when you lose by 42 points. You can't keep blaming me and John. You sound ridiculous. If you lost by 5 points, maybe. You lost by 42. And you lost by about 80 to Eric Adams. Can't be my fault. And I still like him. And he did a lot of good stuff for me. He was one of the reasons why I'm back in New York. Curtis, Chad Lopez, obviously the decision maker. Pete Morgan, Peerless Boilers. Jill Vitale, our early producer, you know, Flirty Flipper. These were the people that said to Chad, you got to bring Sid back. And Chad showed a set of big balls, and he did it. You know, against, again, Imus and Cumulus and all those folks. And 10 years later, right now, Chad looks pretty good. And we've had this incredible run, starting again with the midday show with Bernard in 2016. 2 years later, in 2018, the I-Man left, and Bernie and I took over mornings. Then, of course, tragically, in 2021, My guy Bernie got sick. Did he die in 2022 or 2023? I forget.
I'm remembering 22.
Yeah, I think he did die in November of 2022. I'll never forget the phone call. I mention this all the time. It was Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur had just ended, and my phone was ringing, and it was Mike Breen, the voice of the Knicks and the NBA. And I knew that Mike wasn't calling to ask if I had an easy fast. Mike and Bernie were best friends since they were young men. I mean, they started their radio careers together. I think it was Bernie who introduced Mike to his wife.
I think so, yes.
Right?
Yeah, because there was back way in at WNBC.
Yes.
And that's how long Mike and Bernard had been friends.
For a
Really
long
good
time, and
friends,
she's
yes.
lovely. Mike Breen's wife is lovely.
Oh,
and
love Ro, yes.
so he called me, and I refused to pick up. I had spoken to Bernard literally 1 week before, and he sounded terrible. And I said to Danielle, I said, I don't want to answer the phone. She said, Sid, you got to call him back. Come on. I said, I don't want to answer the phone. So I called Mike back, and my worst fears were realized. He died. It was terrible. Terrible. And then, the questions started coming in. Now what? What is Sid going to do now? We've had these conversations before. And I said to John and Chad and the rest of the management, I said, let me do my thing. I've done this before. I had success down in Florida. I know you don't know about it, different state. But I know the show that I want to do. And if you allow me to do it, even without my late, great, amazing partner, I'll get to number one. And like Joe Biden once said, son of a bitch, we're number one. And it's been a wild journey. Like I said earlier this week, not only did I lose Bernard along the way, I lost my dad, my best friend. Well, Danielle's my best friend, but I lost my dad. And I misdied and others along the way. So it's been a very emotional 10 years. I've taken a lot of shots from local media. I still do. I get killed out there, which President Trump taught me years ago is actually a good thing. Now I use that as fuel, but I'm not going to lie to you. When I first came back to New York in 2016, and every blog was writing what a disaster it wasn't fun. Now I look back and I laugh. So it's been quite the journey the last 10 years, and I couldn't be more proud of this show, Lewis and Justin and Noam, this radio station, 77 WABC, John, Margot, Chad, the whole community here, all the other hosts on the air, they're all terrific. Greg and Dominic and Bo Snerdley and Mark Levin, Bill O'Reilly, Rita Cosby. I don't leave anybody out, but we got a great crew here, great. All the producers, all the board ops, all the sales people. Leslie Slender was terrific. She's not here anymore, her and Glenn Tachinelli, but early on they were very, very good to me. Lisa Orban left most recently. A lot of folks that have come and gone, but we're still here. And today we start, hopefully, our next run of 10 years. So, Lewis, with that said, we'll go to break. We've got a lot of great guests today. I mentioned all of them, about 15 of them over the next 7 hours. We've invited lots of you to come down to the studios. We got food here today. We got drinks here today. We got breakfast. We got lunch. It's going to be 7 hours of a party here at 77 WABC. Chris Libertini, all the sound you hear here, Chris Libertini puts it all together every morning, all the promos, all the commercials. He's excellent at what he does. Chris checking in, Leslie Slender, Vinny Medugno. I love that kid, Vinny. You remember in the beginning, Lou, when I didn't know who Vinny Meduno was, how that whole thing went.
Yeah, you were a little ruthless to him and like, why is Vinny Meduno getting all this play? Who's the kid?
Why am I doing promos? Who's this guy, Vinny? What is he? What is this guy? Turns out he's a tremendously talented guy.
And such a nice guy.
Maybe the nicest person you'll ever meet. I agree with you.
Man.
So, Vinny Meduno, thank you. Simon Glansberg, Warren Port on his way here. I do want to read this quickly. This is our good friend Heshy Orgenbaum. He said, I thought of coming up to the station today, but the weather keeps me from going out. This will have to suffice. Sid, congratulations on your 10-year anniversary on WABC Radio. As the #1 truth spokesman who has captured the attention of a global audience, you're impossible to ignore. Whether people love or hate you, one thing is certain, you've made an undeniable impact and your voice resonates far beyond the airwaves. For me, this milestone is deeply personal. I think back to our very first phone conversation back in 2017, arranged by Gary Perone. You guys know Gary. He works for the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. Used to work for the Brooklyn Cyclones. Great guy. And how that moment became the beginning of a friendship filled with unforgettable experiences. From celebrity softball games and Christmas gifts for sick kids to pink runways supporting breast cancer survivors, Abigail lunches, and your role as honorary Israeli Day Parade Grand Marshal. Each memory reflects your larger-than-life presence and generosity of spirit. I'm grateful for the behind-the-scenes moments as well. Cancer Center tours with Abood and Corey Zelnick, the private 50th birthday celebration, movie parts with Danny A., and even the other meetings that made me smile. These moments go far beyond radio or headlines. They speak to the personal connections, loyalty, and authenticity that define who you are. As I once told Chad, I always bet on the jockey, not the horse. And you've proven time and time again the bet was right. Thank you for the good times we shared, the causes we supported, the laughs and the memories that will always remain. My sincere best wishes to you for continued success. Here's to another 10 years and more together with good health, strength, and momentum. With gratitude for your friendship and the unforgettable journey, Heshy. One more, Stewie Honickman, his son Judah, is the man responsible for our 3 amazing trips to Israel, all that great radio programming. God, those were great trips, right, Justin? Weren't they great? So Stewie checks in, Judah's dad. He says, Sid, words cannot begin to express how proud I am of you and your amazing journey. As an avid listener from the early days to becoming the voice of Israel, proud and loud, Sid. Shelley and I want to wish you and Danielle tons and tons of nachas, all the blessings to infinity and beyond. Congratulations, man. So well deserved. Stewie Hockman. I got a ton of these. I can't read all of them, at least in the first segment. We'll get to them by the end of the day, but thank you for the outpouring of love. Craig Lennon used to work with us. He's over at, I guess he's at OR now. He's a great guy, too. He says congratulations. He was outside the studio with me and Bernard 10 years ago today. Keep going. Thank you for that, Craig. You know, I'm only here for 10 years. I've been doing this job now for going on 28 years, again, starting in the late 1990s in South Florida. But I got to tell you, Lou, the first day I was here 10 years ago with Bernie, sure, I was nervous. Back in New York and midday show, replacing Geraldo Rivera on after Imus. All big names. It was a big deal. But I wasn't all that nervous because at that point I had 17 years under my belt. I knew I was good. But the first time I walked into the studios with Imus, the year was 2000, right before 2001. I was only there for a couple of months when 9/11 happened. I was so scared. Lou, I was so scared. And if you remember, I would lean on you and Bernie. We became friendly right away.
Oh yeah, we were close, 3 of us. Basically.
And really, the 2 of us, because as close as I was with Bernie, we didn't see Bernie at night. You and I ended up going out at night, and
he didn't come out. All of us, just you and I, became friends fast. And that's along with that. I will praise you more that I recognize like. This guy can just go in the studio whenever he's called on. Like, Sid, go in there. We got a problem. Go fix. Mike is not coming back and you could just go in there and do it and go and go and go. You were like an energizer. And I have not seen anybody be able to do this. He is that good. And talk about anything like we've talked about before, music, sports, what's going on TV. And seriously, I will say, like, you could do that like nobody else I've ever seen. I swear. And I have worked with a lot of people, and it's to throw them in spontaneous positions is not easy, and you could handle it. I'm also going to say that I meant to say before, you are one of the easiest people to work with, too. Probably the easiest of all hosts, because you just know what you're doing, and you're that good at it, and hilarious to work with and fun. That's
God.
why.
Look who's talking. Well, thank you for all that.
Yeah,
I feel the same way about you. Imus, and thank you. That was very, very kind. Imus would call on me in tough situations and put a lot of pressure on me. I tell you a quick story. At the time, I was making, I don't know, maybe $100,000. I don't know. He was making like $8 million. Okay. And there was a rule in the newsroom at WFAN, you couldn't look at Imus. It's a true story. You couldn't look at him. You want to swear to God. No, I'm not
I
kidding
didn't
you.
realize that was real.
That was a rule. That was a rule.
God.
They told the interns when they started, like, just keep your distance.
Right.
Don't
Keep
look
your
his
head
way,
down. Don't look
his
at him.
way. It was
So he would
insane.
walk in the morning, and it was always the same walk. He had the cowboy hat on, the big coat. He carried an attaché case with at least $10,000 in cash every time he came in. He would enter the newsroom, and you would see everybody in the newsroom, people like Dave Bunzel, drop their heads. They would drop their heads. Don't look at the eye man. And very slowly, he would walk around all the desks, and he'd get to my desk. And I'm like, oh, God, please don't come over here. Please, please, please.
Oh, that's where he would stop all the time.
Yeah, he would lean over at my desk. Again, I'm making maybe $100,000, scared to death. This prick is making $8 million. He leans over, he goes, I need you to be funny today. And then he'd walk away. You want to talk about pressure. I'm saying to myself, how about you be funny? You're the guy making $8 million.
I know.
But he would do that, and then, when I would make a really stupid, offensive, even racist comment and get fired, which happened 2 or 3 times.
Oh, that was Sid.
Well, I was Sid. In the meantime, he'd have his fingers going underneath the desk like, give me more, give me more, give me more. But he would, of course, he'd feign this horror on the air. What kind of loser was that? Meantime, he loved every second of it. But these were the pressures we had to deal with. And at that point, 2000, 2001, 2002, Imus was huge. He was huge. The station was huge. You had Imus. You had Mike and the Mad Dog. No disrespect to Chris Olivero. He's wonderful. I think Chris is, along with Chad, the 2 best young guys in the country. I just don't think the talent is out there today. So I think he's doing a great job with what's out there. He's got Craig Carton back. I thought that was a really, really good move, But you can't compare now to what we had back in 2002, 2003. They're all Hall of Famers.
Oh, it was a powerhouse day.
All Hall of Famers. Mike, Chris, Imus, Steve Summers, Sid, Beningo, McDonald, Mike Breen. I mean, all Hall of Famers. And it was a wild, wild time. And it all kind of ended on that morning of 9/11 when that plane hit the tower. And, we play the audio every year on 9/11. It's me, Imus, and Charles McCord. By the way, Charles McCord will join us on this program this morning. He's got to be, about 85 years old?
I would say in that range, maybe a little younger, too. But
He's
sharp. He still seems sharp to me.
He's sharp. He's living in the mountains in the Ozarks somewhere. He ran away from Imus. He took his money. He left. And that plane hit, and the 3 of us were talking about the Broncos and the Giants from the night before. And it was no big deal. Bernard was actually out on 96th Street. It was a mayor primary that day. So he wasn't in studio. Mark Chernoff, the boss, was doing Bernie's job standing next to you, Lewis. And Chernoff was the guy who said to Imus, I think a plane hit the World Trade Center.
Well, this might be terrorism because it's second plane. And then,
well, that was it. No.
If you look, we're going to play it again.
The second plane, we knew it because then the legendary Warner Wolf called in. And then, of course, Warner called back when the tower fell. He said, I'm in. It's gone.
They're gone.
It's gone.
Gone. I can't believe
What's
I'm
gone,
seeing.
Warner? The tower. It's gone. Like it was yesterday.
I'm looking right at it. It's not there.
And everything changed after that. And
he started crying then, too.
Oh, everybody was crying.
Yeah, it was awful.
And then Francesa came on that day and said, if they hit us again, there'll be no more sports talk. FAN will be done because we're going to be finished. So there were some difficult times between 2000 and 2005 at WFAN for the city, for the country, and for the world. And you can make the argument that although we haven't had a 9/11 in this country since, that we've had a lot of bad stuff. And I only thank God that President Donald J. Trump is in the White House every day. I can't believe there are still people out there, people I love, family, friends, people I respect, smart people that don't love this guy. And he's going to join me coming up in about 2 hours at 8:30 this morning. And I'm telling you, folks, just trust me on this one. Thank your lucky stars that Donald Trump is in the White House. If we had this dingbat, this moron, giggling hyena Kamala Harris in the White House right now, don't forget, Trump stopped 8 wars already. 8. They'd be raging on. Yesterday, we got the very last hostage back from Israel. I don't think you folks realize how important that is, not just for the Jewish people, but for Christian people in America. They're all home. Dead or alive, they're all home. Do you think if the Democrats were still in power and Harris was in the White House, that would be the case?
Well. See, you have one plane, right? Now you have a plane. Then you have a second plane. That means that's you don't know what I'm saying, right? You know that. So then you've got a plane from one end and another plane coming. You've got a problem. You got a problem. So you try.
Thank you very much. That's Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Making a little cameo on the Sid and Friends in the Morning Show. Let me read this quickly from Russ Sullivan, the brother of Mike Sullivan. Donna Sullivan, Mike's lovely wife, along with Joe from A&S Pork Store in Brooklyn. They're bringing over from the Harbor Yacht Club in Queens a whole bunch of food today, along with Gristides and D'Agostino's and Joe Parisi. Russ, who's a former Secret Service guy, nice job, Lewis, says, Sid, mazel tov to you, Danielle, Ava, and Gabe. Your father is smiling, looking down at you. Moreover, congratulations to you and the team of professionals, Lou, Noam, and Justin, in the trench, working elbow to elbow with you. Your tribute to them was heartfelt, and you said it. They are simply the best in the business. You and your journey is a lesson of talent, of course, but I think your perseverance, authenticity, and love and support of your family are what resonates, transcends, and earns the respect of millions. Soldier on, brother, for the next 10 years. Love from Russ and the family. That is our friend Russ Sullivan. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, it all starts now. A multitude of big-name guests, which include Mark Levin, Sean Hannity, Charles McCord, Lara Trump, President Donald Trump, you name it. Happy anniversary. Thank you to Stuart. Dr. Ralph Napolitano, been a friend of mine from day one here. He's a chiropractor, but him and his brother, Tony, terrific guy. They own Ann and Tony's on Arthur Avenue up in the Bronx, a great restaurant. Delaney Kempner happens to work in Jessica Tish's office. Lovely girl. Thank you, Delaney. And Lou, you know this girl, MJ Ledwith?
I need to be refreshed.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be in your bed later on tonight. So.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I came into work to hear about that.
Yeah, well, this guy may be in your bed, too. I don't know. He's a great governor, former governor. My friend David Patterson kicks off a guest list of 17 people today. Good morning, Mr. Governor. You're the first guest on this epic program, so congratulations.
Good morning, Sid. Well, you know, all these people sending telegrams and texts and phone calls and voicemails. I thought that I would honor you by being the first one to come in here and discuss the fact that you have been a resilient person throughout your whole career and have done a lot for so many people that don't even know it. And for me, growing up in Nassau County, also the home of Bruce Blakeman, I couldn't get up and read the morning newspaper. So I really was dependent on radio to find out what was going on in the world, the newscasts and all the other interesting things that would go on, and not more so than now. And so congratulations on 10 years, and I think you'll do another 10 without even trying.
Thank you for that. You know, you and I have become
No
very,
applause,
very
just
close.
money.
Yeah, he knows this money. We become very close. We've got this men's group. I talk about them all the time. Keith Kantrowitz, my buddy Mark Oranger, and Dr. Brad Wasserman, and Andy Alpstein, and Mike Kemper, and Anthony Carone, all these terrific guys. And Governor Patterson is in this group. In fact, they all took me to dinner at a great restaurant, my buddy Michael's in Brooklyn, on Thursday night. We had such a good time. But we've done a bunch of these. We've gone to Met games together. We've socialized quite a bit. I didn't know you much. I wasn't even familiar with your whole governor stay. But I can tell you this, getting to know you so well the last 3 or 4 years, you are so smart. You're the funniest guy at the table every night, every time we're together. And I really appreciate our friendship. I only wish, Governor Patterson, I mean this, that you ran again, because they screwed you. You never should have been removed from office, and I still maintain you would have been great in any political capacity in this city.
That was a difficult decision for me to make, because I knew there were all these charges. It reminds me of what's happening to the president, what's happening to other people. And it's very hard to run after, all these allegations are plastered all over the place, all of which I beat, by the way. And in one occasion, I went to the World Series, and I had the check to give to the owner of the Yankees, but I didn't see him. The next day, before I could even do anything, I see my picture in the newspaper.
Right.
All right, so that was a mistake. That was a wrong. But how do you fine someone $62,000 for making that one mistake? That was orchestrated by people who were not interested in having me there. But
Do you want to name names? Because I've heard over the years that it was Andrew Cuomo. Was that true? Don't be a pussy. Come on, Gabe. Come on. You're on my show. You're on my show now. Let's go. Was it Cuomo?
You're still allowed to take the Fifth Amendment here, right?
It doesn't matter, again, because you've gone on to have a great life. You've got a beautiful wife. I love your wife. And listen, you've got people rely on you. Katzimatidis here. Every time we've got a press conference on something political, we do go to you. So tell me this before I let you run, specifically the governor race, because you were governor. You mentioned the fact you're from Nassau County. Bruce Blakeman will join me on this show later on today. He's the guy now. Elise Stefanik, she begged out. I was surprised, but she begged out. So it's Blakeman now against Kathy Hochul. What do you see, Governor Patterson?
I think it'll be a close race between the two of them. I know them both. I knew Bruce Blakeman a long time, but I think the governor, when she came in 2021, it was instant. She came in the same way I came in, although I came in a little bit differently. I've always said it was the best benefit I ever got from sex, and I wasn't even there. She has really captured a lot of attention by being very vocal and very critical of the current administration. And although, people have different feelings about that kind of thing, I think she's growing into the position the way I thought she would when she first took over, when someone else had to leave.
Right, somebody else. I think I mentioned him about 2 minutes ago. Listen, you're terrific. You really are. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, and I've mentioned him twice, Curtis Sliwa, but what you did for Anthony on the streets of New York, a superhero. You folks know that a mob of people started beating up on Anthony, and David Patterson, the governor, jumped into motion, physically took out all these guys, saved Anthony's life. I know Curtis is always in debt to that. You may not say the nicest things about you, but of course, he'll always love you for that. And you're just a hero in New York. We really love you, Governor David Patterson. Thank you so much for everything.
Well, thank you, Sid. It was a very frightening situation. And you hear people, when they go and do things like that, say that I never thought about it, I just did something. But what I thought, the only thing I thought was funny was when I threw this guy against a McDonald's window and he fell on the ground, this passerby, and it could only happen on the Upper East Side, walks up to me and says, "Was that necessary?" Yeah, it was necessary. They're trying to kill my kid. Bastard.
Governor Patterson, you're one of a kind. We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid.
I'm glad you're here celebrating with me today. Thank you so much. You're great. You are great. John Cirillo, thank you for the kind words. And I've got Dr. John Batash in the audience today. He saved my life down at Miami Beach a couple of weeks ago. He prescribed erythromycin for me. I was very, very close to death. So thank you, Doc. Patterson, great job. We'll take a short break. This is the second time I've done the show like this, kind of like a Johnny Carson type of thing. I've got a desk, I've got my chair, speaking to a live audience. It's really very nice. We did it once before for Shriners Children. This was so good. So Margot did it again today, and we've got a live studio audience. It's going to get packed, I believe, the next hour or two. And I say this about WABC all the time. Off to a great start already. Don't forget, President Donald J. Trump, he's going to be here. Mark Levin, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Charles McCord, Lara Trump. Amazing guest list today. But when I got here, we had the driver, right? I'm the driver. NASCAR. You guys like NASCAR? You all like NASCAR, right? So I'm the driver. I can drive, okay? And we had the pit boss. That guy can fix the car like nobody. That's Chad. We didn't have a car. We didn't have a car. What good is having Jeff Gordon as your driver or the best pit boss in the history of NASCAR when you're driving an AMC Pacer against cars that go 200 miles per hour? That was cumulus. Sorry, guys. Then one day, we had 4 radio stations, and the next day we had 1. And I went to Chad's office, Madison Square Garden, and I said, it's over, right? That's it. No, not yet, not yet. We're going to get somebody really good. Okay, sure. And in come John and Margot Katzimatidis, the car. And I didn't know John. I was in Boca when he ran for mayor back in 2013. I didn't know him. And they stood, about 10 of them, up on the stage by Madison Square Garden. I was like, oh, my God, who is this guy? Let me just say this. We have a car now. We've got the best car NASCAR ever had. And that is John and Margot Katzimatidis, who have done just an unbelievable job. This couple has literally restored radio to New York City. It was dead. It was dead and buried. I really thought it was going back to Florida. And John and Margot came in with Chad still here. Emily Pankow also does a tremendous job. And they have built a radio empire. And I can never really thank them. So I do want to thank you this morning, celebrating 10 years. I believe, 5 of the 10, John, is 5 of the 10 with you? You here 5 years now?
We bought WABC from Cumulus about 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, maybe coming on 6 soon.
Wow.
And they gave it to me with the idea that we will fail. Well, they won't. They refused to sell us any other stations, even though we asked them to, because they don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
That we will succeed where other people failed. And WABC, I knew it from when I was going to high school when I was a kid. And in WABC, when I was growing up, I had a transistor radio. And it had 3 transistors in it. And it was a powerful station. It had everybody on it. And I used to listen to WABC. So when Tony Carbonetti walked into my office one day, and he's friends with the lady, I forget her name, that runs Cumulus.
Mary.
Mary something.
Yeah.
And
Chad knows.
and says, you can buy WABC for $12.5 million. I scratched my head. I said, where do I sign?
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you about how that conversation came about. About a year before that, or 2 years before that, I was very good friends with Jerry Crowley, who was running WABC, WOR.
Right.
And the Buckley family. And the Buckley family, I guess he wasn't feeling well. And nice people, the Buckley family. And all of a sudden, in Bloomberg was on every Friday morning. And all of a sudden, one day, he decided to sell to iHeart for $30 million. I called Jerry Crowley, and I'm yelling and screaming at him. I said, why did you guys do that? I would have bought it for $30 million.
Right.
And then I said, Mike Bloomberg would have bought it for $30 million.
Right.
Why are you putting it in iHeart's hands? They don't know how to run stations in New York. New York. How do you say? New York, New York. and I said, so when Tony Carbonetti walked in, and Tony Carbonetti, for all of you who don't know, was chief of staff and a good friend of Rudy Giuliani. So $12.5 million, I put on blindfolds.
Yeah.
And in the contract with Cumulus, they put everything in there that could screw me. They put in that if we screwed you, you promise not to sue us. Would you believe? I've signed thousands of contracts in the last 50 years. I've never seen something like that. If we're screwing you, you promise not to sue us.
You can't make that up.
See
make
that?
that up.
I mean,
There you go.
We got
Now
a
we got the
fire
alarm.
going on.
Well, you really can't make that up.
Alert!
But
Now,
in the end, you made a smart move.
I signed it,
Yeah.
and I didn't give a crap.
Yeah.
And because, look, I knew I wanted WABC, and I didn't give a crap.
Yeah.
So we took over WABC, and we turned it into the #1 station in the country. And forget, it was number 28 in New York region.
Yeah. It's
So
terrible.
it's from 28 in New York region to #1 in the country. And you know what I'm living for? We're going to make it bigger than the BBC. We're going to make it bigger than the Voice of America, because WABC is going to have the Voice of America out of the capital of America, the capital being New York City, of the capital of the world.
I believe you.
And the whole world's going to tune in to listen to WABC.
Hey, when you say something, you do it. Now, Patterson, quickly, you were on moments ago, but where is your relationship with John? What is that? Give me that in a Monarch Note version. What does that go back to?
Well, I'd met John a number of times, but then in 2013, John asked me if I'd help him run for mayor. And I said, John, I could do that, but I'm the chair of the Democratic Party. And John was running as a Republican. And so we worked out an agreement that I would help him as much as I could. And I kind of wish we could do it again, John, because now I figured
Man, one
out.
more time.
Exactly.
We'll run for something. Dog catcher.
I asked Patterson to run for something before it's said and done. I want to get Margot up here, too, because she's been.
No, I want to tell,
such a
before
rock.
David goes away, I want
ahead.
to tell one story.
Go ahead.
I can't believe Governor Patterson is the only person that ever got criticized for receiving Yankee tickets.
Not just criticized.
I said,
fired.
I said, getting Yankee tickets? I don't know a single politician that's never accepted Yankee tickets. Does anybody, we'll offer a reward. Give me a politician that's never gotten Yankee tickets.
Yeah.
There is no such thing.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I would have handled, I'm an honorary lawyer. I said, I would have handled your defense. I would have put you on the stand. And I would have said, how can you accept Yankee tickets? You can't even see the game.
It's a funny story because the first time I really hung out with Governor Patterson, to your point, John, I went to a Met game with Keith Kantrowitz, Anthony Carone, and Patterson. And the first thing I said was, how's he going to watch the game? And he goes, watch. And he has these like little binoculars, and he's able to see every play. There came a time in the sixth inning, John, true story, where I said, hey, what's going on out there? To a blind guy.
And I got to thank the governor. He helped me run the campaign in 2013. And at the end of the day, look, I knew all my opponents. I knew Bill de Blasio very well, and we're still friends to this day. He was sitting next to me on every campaign or every debate. I knew Anthony Weiner. I knew almost Joe Loda. I liked him. And in the Republican primary that I lost, I really, Joe, I liked a great deal. But I guess the name recognition of Rudy Giuliani at that time, I lost to Rudy Giuliani's name recognition.
Tough. That's tough.
And the fact is, then I made a second mistake. I also had the Liberal Party nomination. Could you imagine if it was a three-way, Joe Loda, myself, and Bill de Blasio? Who knows what would have happened?
Yeah. Well,
At the end of the day, you know who won?
We just had a three-way. Who was it?
My company. Because we made a lot more money being there versus being mayor.
So you won, and you also won by not buying WOR and buying WBC. Margot, come up here for a second. Come on. I know she's...
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Margot
Hey, where's the applause button? Margot has always been up by my side for a long time. I hired her as my assistant. I don't use the word secretary anymore.
You can't use that. No, you're not allowed to do that.
In
right.
19, I'll tell you, I hired her in September 1973.
Wow. So how long are you guys married now?
We're together, 50... What is that, 54 years?
A long time.
Something like that.
Yeah, God bless you. Well, Margot, I must say that, John, of course, does a great job here, but everybody knows that, you're kind of the boss, and you do a tremendous job. This room in here looks amazing. You come down every morning, you look inside the studio, you say hello. Those little things, those are important. Trust me. That's the type of stuff that really ups the morale at a radio station, to see the owners who actually care. So many times I've worked in this industry, you never see the owners. And if you see them, it's kind of like, not you guys. You come down every morning, you say hello. You're great with that. You really
All of
are.
our companies, for all these years, we've built as a family business. So we care about everybody that works at the companies. And I happen to love the radio station, and as well as John does.
Well, thank you for helping. She fell in love with WABC. She enjoys doing it. She enjoys the entertainment, and I'm glad to have her by my side. And Margot, I love you.
Love you too.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to go to break. That's it. No one to say anything else. Let's go to break, Lou. That ends perfectly. John, I love you. Margot, I love you too. I love everybody. We're all in love. Later on today, President Trump will be here at 8:30. Then you go to Lara Trump, Sean Hannity, Bruce Blakeman, Joseph Abood, Charles McCord, Mark Levin, Bill O'Reilly, Bernie's beautiful widow, Carol McGurk, all going to be here. I got two guys now sitting here right now. One of those is the man that made the decision, despite a lot of opposition from Cumulus, Imus, and many others, to bring me back to New York. And that, of course, is the president of Red Apple Media, Chad Lopez. And also now sitting next to Chad is my great buddy, my guy. I call him Uncle Bo, the great cop, Uncle Bo Deedle. He's on the show every Tuesday, and I've known Bo for the better part of 28 years, dating back to the Imus days. You look great, by the way. Were you in Florida or something?
Yeah, let me tell you. I went down Friday morning when the storm was coming at 7 o'clock. I jumped on a plane. So I said, I got to come back for this show. They said, what are you talking about? Stay down in Florida. It's beautiful. I said, I told Stid I was going to be there. They canceled 4 flights last night. I made it. I'm here for you, and I wouldn't miss your 10-year anniversary.
You look gorgeous. You look like $1 million. You're nice and Tampa. Let me start with Chad. Chad, look, everybody knows this story. It was in my first book, You're Wrong and You're Ugly, which nobody read. Thank you very much. But we know that Cumulus really wanted Mike Lupica. Don Imus really wanted Mike Lupica. Your program director at the time, Craig Schwab, really wanted Mike Lupica. And you said, and I know that Curtis and Pete Morgan and Jill Vitale and a few others said, I don't know, I think Sid and Bernie would be the better match. But ultimately, that was up to you. And you went against Cumulus, Imus, and all these heavyweights and said, I'm making the decision. I'm bringing Sid back. And I know we've had some nervous moments along the way, and you and I got physical a couple of times. That's
We're
a
not
true
gonna talk
story.
about that here.
Yeah, we did at the old office at Madison Square Garden. But 10 years later, Chad Lopez, you're looking pretty damn good this morning.
That's right. With the broken, I had surgery, rotator cuff surgery. So that's what happened in the first fight with Sid, by the way, and that was the injury from that. I just finally decided to get it fixed. No, but Sid, I think it's incredible. 10 years, morning show host, news talk, morning show host. That's unheard of. There's only a few that was there. I miss 50 plus years in morning show, right? And then you had someone else who doesn't really make it, I don't even know him. But then to have Sid 10 years, a decade in mornings is incredible. And what you've done for the station, taking it to, you mentioned where we were. And it was an easy fight for me because it was either let's bring something in, fresh, new, let's take a chance, because what they had there was terrible programming, right? Yeah. But Cumulus also knew that their programming was struggling. It was pushed down from the top. When you came in, we pushed from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you took great stories. We had our moments, but I chalked that up to just passion and desire to win from both of us.
Well,
And that's where
I was in your office that first day, and I remember the first time we got a little heated. I said to you, boss, no disrespect, but I didn't come up here from Florida to lose. I want to win. And I think you said to me, you're going to win.
Yeah.
If you're going to be here, that was the exact verbiage. I mean, maybe I was here for 6 months at that point. This is early 2016. So we both wanted to win. I go back to the days, Chad, and I'll give you a lot of credit because you would have these meetings and Chad would be talking about, social media and all these things that are so important now that back then no one even knew about. I mean, nobody. And I would sit there and go, this guy is either out of his mind or he's a genius. And all the things he talked about 9 years ago that he wanted Tachinelli, these other people to employ, now it has become a major part of our business. So you were you were a pioneer with all that stuff. And don't kid yourself, that's part of the reason why WABC is so successful.
Well, thank you.
He was the Elon Musk of radio.
He was.
Because when he's telling me about podcasts, he's telling me about this.
You remember
and
that?
And I'm saying, this guy's on another planet. But you want to know something? Chad, with all respect, I think you did a fabulous job of bringing the brand out there, WABC. And again, in the morning, I'm be very honest, and I'm not sucking up to you, Sid. I go back 25 years. All I could say is, wherever I am in the world, I turn my app on. I have to listen to you in the morning. I'm in the shower. When it's too loud, I come out of the shower, I pop my head out. Sid, you've become something that I idolize. You really do. You're like a son to me. From way back, 25 years, I've seen your voice go from eep down to the lower.
Isn't that crazy?
You had a yeep in your voice.
I did. And listen, I remember the days, Bo, when you would come on to Imus and he loved you. I know you loved him too, but there's a lot of times in there, Bo, and no one had it worse than me. Maybe Rob Bartlett, that fat, stupid guy. And I love you, Rob. I'm sorry. But I had it pretty bad. But he was rough with you. He a lot of times he disrespected you, didn't give you the time that you needed because you come on my show every Tuesday and you're terrific. My listeners love you. You speak for the cops. You speak for the city. You are New York City. So I know now you have the opportunity to really speak and you get respect from our program because Imus for a long time beat the living daylights out of you.
Listen, I went back. I was doing the show maybe 3-4 days a week. I'd come in there wherever I want, and Imus would treat me, and I would walk out. I walked out of the show 3-4 times, and then who would call me up? As Deirdre would call me and said, he's upset. I said, you tell him I'm going to punch him in the freaking mouth the next time I see him. I said, you know what? I'll stick that gun that I got. I'll never forget him. I got him a gun permit, and I go down to the range. I say, here, cowboy, shoot. Boom, 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 6 shots. He didn't hit the friggin' target. It was 70 yards. I pulled the gun away. I said, you ain't taking this gun until you can shoot. And then on top of it, the greatest story, Sid, was it, and that's not a great story because the memories of 9/11 and you come back on the show and you're on the show with him, and the next thing is, Imus, I went to the cleaners. I got these great shirts. These shirts fit me really well and all that. I said, well, wait a second. What are your shirts? He goes, no, they gave me the wrong shirts.
First time it's noticed that the initials on my wrist said HC. And he goes, aren't you SR? Who's HC? And I said, I hate to tell you, I man, but back then you can say this, the Chinese laundry, they dropped off the shirts and, possession is 99%. So now they're mine. He goes, they don't even fit you well. And we're going to find the guy that really owns those shirts. And you son of a bitch, Bo Dietl, you set me up.
So I go out, and then we all set the thing up, and the computers were big years ago. And then I get Johnny C., the stuntman, great actor, and he comes in as the brother of the deceased from 9/11, and he's there. Where'd you get those shirts from? Sid's there. Sid starts to shake. Next thing is he picks the computer up. This wasn't casted that way. This wasn't scripted that way. He picks the computer, throws it at you. You run all the way in the back room. Bo, protect me. The guy's crazy.
I almost threw his gun at that point in the studio. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's really going to kill me over shirts.
But I mean, it was just so funny what we used to do on I said, I saw it in you. In the beginning, this guy is destined to go somewhere. And then when you were with Bernie, I love Bernie more than life like you did.
He loved you too. But that was another difficult decision for Chad because first Chad had to go through all the nonsense of him hiring Sid to put him in with Bernie for the midday show.
Yeah.
And then when Cumulus decided that Imus coming to work every day with a gun and a mask, that was over. And like $8 million, couldn't get a rating point, and the revenue wasn't as good as it used to be. So they're like, he's done. And again, 2 years later, Chad was faced with the decision, who do I replace Imus with? And again, people were like, it can't be Sid and Bernie. And I've got a picture on my phone. I'm wearing ripped jeans. And it's me, Chad, and Bernie signing the contract. So twice in 3 years, Chad, first you made the decision to have us do the midday show. Then 2 years later, again, against everybody, had us do the morning show.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing that you made both of those decisions, and you showed no fear, and it all worked out, obviously, but those were two major decisions in 3 years.
Well, first off, I'd like to say I didn't know what I was doing. I was a little crazy back then to put you in this shot. No. But again, it was just talent and knowing that you would take the show with Bernie. And Bernie was great.
Yeah.
You guys were a great team, right? And we were nervous. When Bernie had passed, John said, well, what are we going to do? And John said, all right, let's figure this out, right? We think Sid could do it, which you were like, I'm definitely doing it, right?
I'm doing it.
And it was one of the best decisions that we made. But again, and it's not because we work for John and Margot, but John it's incredible when you have an owner, right, who cares about the product. And we always say this. When we came over, John said, get rid of the weekend programming, and you guys all know the story. It's $2.7 million. I said, John, we can't get rid of $2.7 million. That's crazy. We got to pay for you. He's like, Chad, work on the product first, put the product out there first, and the revenue will follow, right? And that, if you had that in radio, I believe radio's not dead. I believe if you had owners that believed in that, and they're just as passionate. John's on air. He gets on because he's passionate about it. He wants to make sure we're giving our listeners live, local, and we're here for them. And that makes a big difference. So we could sit here. Sid, you're great. Just ask Sid. He'll tell you how great he is. I think I'm great. And
you are.
But really, this greatness doesn't happen without owners
no
that
question.
support
No,
that.
it's no question.
And it's not, again, we're not kissing butt here. It's just the truth.
It is the truth. John and Margot have done a tremendous job. Emily, you too. And Bo, you know that. You're a businessman yourself. I look at New York City, and I get saddened. We talk about it on the air because I feel like the guys that, made this city great, whether it's John or you, even me, Chad, we're not in our 30s anymore. When I look at the mayor right now, he's a young guy, but he's a complete creep. I look at the people he put around him, creeps. I look at other people in political positions, and I'm saying the strong guys, Bo, guy like you who a cop for so many years, and you went out there and you figured out all these really, really tough cases. I feel like a lot of us are going away.
Sid, I came prepared to go against Mundummy today. I got my ammunition. It's not about Mundummy today. Today is about you, Sid. And I'm not going to bring it. I'm going to do my podcast on Wednesday. I'll have an update on New York City with all the negativity that this creep has brought to our city and everything else. But today it's about you, and it's about how you've taken this. And with the respect of John and Margot and Chad, they saw this happening. They had to vote for you, and they had to bank bank on you financially and whatever, and John foresee it. I got a real problem with John Butt now. I got a real problem.
What's the problem?
I got a call from Scorsese. He wants me in a part. I'm serious. A part in Las Vegas playing a casino owner, and he goes to me. It's going to be between you and John Catsimatidis. I said, "Get out of here!" He says, "I'm an actor." Now I got to worry about John Catsimatidis.
Listen, Marty Supreme is doing really well.
Hey, maybe it's going to be the best picture.
It is.
And I bet you John will be in the audience. And if they don't invite John, something's wrong with that picture.
to
John and
be
Margot.
there. He needs to be there. And Timothy's going to win Best Actor, too. That has been nominated for 7 Academy Awards.
Unbelievable.
Marty
One
Supreme, I
movie
know.
the guy gets in, and it's an
Unbelievable.
Academy Award. John, John, what the heck you doing to me, John?
I tell you what, another movie is opening up this weekend you may want to see, and that's The President's going to join me in about 45 minutes. His wife, Melania.
Yeah.
Her movie comes out on Friday. That's not going to do as well as Marty Supreme, but I imagine it's going to do very, very well. So, Chad, 10 years together. Give me what you see in the future. How do we take this, where you guys took it from worst to first, and make it even better?
So what's the saying? The good news is we're number one. Bad news, we're number one because we got to stay there, right?
Right.
But
which is harder to do. It's almost easier to get there, harder to stay there.
yeah, but I would agree with that if we didn't have the ability to. We weren't nimble. We couldn't do things and take opportunities. I mean, look at opportunities and say, how do we maximize from that and grow radio? If you're here in this studio right now, you would never ever think that this was WABC or was a radio station if we took you around and you get to see the way we build content, we originated great content, right? And the one thing when Sid and I would get into arguments, even here, even now, it's Sid will say how he feels, and he'll say it, and I say, yeah, Sid, and he'll, I'm just going to say it, this is the way it's going to be, and John will say, Sid, you say it, you tell them how to say it, and then the listeners are coming in, and they're calling, and I'm saying, I said, it's just the way you say it, Sid, just say it this way. But he didn't listen.
No.
And he just went and said it the way he did. So I learned that from you, is just to let you say what you want to say. And as John says, just tell the truth.
Just tell
right?
the truth. Just let him say it.
Yeah, and how you feel.
I've tried to fix some of that, just so you know.
Yeah.
But when I get very, very hot, it's difficult. for
Yeah.
me.
So now, like that has an ending to it, because how are we going to grow? We're going to continue to keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to make sure what we're saying is right and factual, and we're just going to get it out there and make sure everyone
And
enjoys
I
the
think
content.
most important is we have to hire a lot more lawyers for what you say. And all I know is one thing, Sid, Margot and John are in back here. I'm in back here. Whatever you say, I stand by it. There's a lot of people that are negative to you, but you're telling the truth. And you know what? A lot of people say, oh, you got to conform to what people want to hear. You know what? People want to hear the other side. You turn on all these other channels, all these liberal news shows, CBS, NBC, ABC, and you get one negative side. I turned on 11, before I went to sleep to get up last night, I turned that creep on from Channel 2. What's his name? The talk show guy that is Trump is dumping off the air. And he was talking about...
Oh, Steve Colbert.
What a piece of garbage.
Oh, yeah, the
what
worst.
a negative garbage man. And that they put him on there. Now, people turn on there, and they're getting the opinions of what he's saying. Let's start turning things around and give the facts before we give the opinions of what you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I couldn't agree more.
And, again, I think it's all about one thing. Our great president, who I'm very proud to be appointed by him. You know, what's happening in Minnesota is on everybody's mind. Nobody wants to see anybody die. And this thing has to be used in a way that he has to come out of this thing right. We got midterms coming. Because if we lose the midterms, number one will be impeachment of our great president. Number two, we're going to lose the Congress, and we've got to band together. And you're the voice to bring out those votes. Let's start doing this together.
Here's the good news. President Trump will join me in 36 minutes. Everything you just talked about, Minneapolis, the midterms, you name it, that'll be part of our discussion. You don't want to miss out. President Trump coming up at 8:30. Chad, I'll always be
Sid,
eternally
before we go,
grateful. Yes.
we got one last presentation here. David Donovan, the president of the New York State Broadcasters Association. I think he's on the line right now.
Is
If
he
we can
really?
have, yes, he's on the line.
He's a
He
great
had something
guy,
he
Dave.
wanted to say to you.
No
So we'll let
kidding.
him. Yeah.
David,
Dave?
are you there?
Sid?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Sid. You know, I see a lot of radio and television across the country, and we're challenged every day by all this new media, thousands of audio and video voices, and to stand out like you have done, is an incredible achievement. It requires a unique skill and talent. You're able to tell compelling stories that capture the audience's attention and keeps them engaged. So look, today on your 10th anniversary at WABC, I want you to know that the New York State broadcasters recognize your commitments and importance to broadcasting and presenting you with a special Serving New York award. I know it doesn't come easily, and I do want to thank you for bringing the heritage call letters of one of America's great stations, WABC, back on top. You know, it's no surprise that you're #1 AM News Talk morning show in New York City, and you prove the power of radio every single day. And because of you, radio is alive and well. So I believe Chad has something to present to you, and we just want to thank you for all the great work you have done.
David, I can't thank you enough. I've got an immense amount of respect for you, the work that you do, your association. I was not expecting this. I'm choked up.
So, Sid, as a member of the board of directors from the New York State Broadcasters Association, I'm proud to present, along with David, this bowl, which is Serving New York. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much.
Sid, congratulations,
Hey,
sir.
David, thank you so much.
And we're honored to recognize you on your 10 years at WABC.
Well, that was a great moment. David, thank you so much. It does say Serving New York, the New York State Broadcasters Association. I wasn't expecting that. I'm not good with these surprises. I get very choked up. I miss my dad. I wish he was here to see this today, but thank you for that.
Yeah, we have one coming with your name on it. That was just.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
Hey, Sid, one thing.
Yeah.
People call you a narcissist, and you said it along many times on the radio. The greatest people in the world, including President Trump and you, are narcissists.
Correct.
Narcissists are people that love people to like them or hate them or whatever it is, but they love themselves. And if you didn't love yourself, Sid, you wouldn't be Sid Rosenberg. You wouldn't have people listening to you. You are a narcissist. I guess we're all a bit narcissists in our own little heads.
Well, I think that every successful person has that, especially in entertainment. You know, Don, I mean, you couldn't even call him Don. You had to call him Mr. Iman. I mean, give me a break. How can you be more narcissistic than that? So I think it comes with the territory. But thank you both. Bo, I love you. You're a relative at this point. You're not a friend. You're past that. You're great on my show every week, but I love you to pieces.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell Chad doesn't know. I'm renewing my podcast and my radio advertising because you know why? I love WABC, and I'm renewing everything.
All right.
Really, that's great. Thank you.
And Chad,
Thank you.
I love you. You've not once but twice made a very difficult decision to support me, and I know all the pushback and all the hell you went through. And believe me, when it's all said and done, and we're far from that, we got a lot more decades to go. But I want to make sure when we're all done, the two of us can walk off and say, we did it.
Yes, but thank you. WABC call letters, bringing those call letters back. How great. We had this conversation a few days ago. How great is it to be the #1 talk show on WABC in New York? 77
it's surreal.
WABC.
It's surreal. I mean, you look at the lineup, and John brought it up earlier, guys like Bob Grant and Sean Hannity, who'll be on this show later today, Rush Limbaugh, Don Imus. I mean, all the all-time greats were on this radio station. I never thought I'd get to this position, but I'm thrilled to be here.
Congratulations.
Sid,
Thank you,
Congratulations.
one thing on the way out, Sid. Who put that outfit together, Governor Patterson? What is that? What the hell is that?
That's Joseph Abood.
Oh, that's a little bit of a crashitation.
I know. It's a lot of color there. Joe will be in the studio later on today, too. And the rabbi is here. I see you, Joe Potasnik. I love you, too. You're a great guy. That is our dear friend, Rabbi Joe Potasnik. Bo Dietl, Chad Lopez.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love both of you guys. We'll take a short break. A lot more to do. Peter King is coming up. Do love this guy, the great Peter King. Peter, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great, but I thought we were sitting shiver for you. I turned on the radio, and everyone's talking how great Sid was this.
You know, it's so funny you say. It's funny you say that because Danielle sent me a text. She goes, "Are you retiring?"
Congratulations, Sid. It's been a great 10 years, and there's going to be 110 more.
Thank you, Peter. You've been such a huge part of this show. And I tell people this, when I was in New York and you were on the shows with me back then, and then I got fired and ended up down in Florida, and only a couple of people would come on the shows down there with me. Bo Dietl, for example, he would come on my Florida shows, and you were one of those guys. If I called Pete King and I'm on in Florida, you would always come on. So as soon as we got back, and Bernard loved you, he loved you. It was so great to have you back on this show. So you've been really loyal to me and supportive, and not only a great guest, but a great friend. So thank you so much.
Especially with you. You and Bernie were the best. You are the best now. So let's just keep going forward. And really, again, you are New York. That's what it's all about.
Thank you for saying that. You know, we part of the reason why I've done well here, I really believe, is the relationship I've got, Peter, in Nassau County. That's you. That's Joe Cairo. That's Bruce Blakeman. He's going to join me later on today. Ann Donnelly. We love Ann. You know, Pat Ryder, the great police commissioner. Yep. Boy, he really is terrific. I mean, all you folks out there in Nassau County, I really believe that's part of the reason why this show has great success.
Yeah, I sort of introduced you to those guys, and now they've forgotten me. All they talk about is you. So I don't know.
There is some truth to that.
You take over. You just leave bodies in your wake.
There is some truth to that, Mazi Phillip, too. But when you look at
great.
The success that you guys have had in that county, and I got to tell you, I'm right across the border in Queens, and we've said to you a couple of times, Danielle said this, why can't we make like Rockaway and Bell Harbor and the Ponset a part of Long Island, make it a part of Nassau County? Because we'd rather have you guys running the show than Mamdani. But the truth is, you guys know how to run a county. It's been quite a run.
Yeah, listen, there's between 70 and 100,000 more Democrats in Nassau County than Republicans, and yet in the last elections, Joe Cairo's leadership, he's really made a strong organization. It's at the grassroots level. We won every countywide office for the first time in 70 years. We won every office in Long Beach. Every town and city is right now has under Republican leadership. But it's not easy. Every year it's tough because we are outnumbered and we have a very hostile media out there. Thank God we have you on radio. But as far as in the print media, it's against us. And all I can say is that Joe Cairo, it represents the people. It's a blue collar. It's Republican Party. It's primarily blue collar. It represents the communities. Every candidate that's run has to have direct connection with the community. Guys don't just come to the outside and run. You're in the community. You're ingrained in the community. And Joe Cairo always makes you keep your head on straight.
He really does. He's a very funny guy too, Joe Cairo. He's very, very funny. One more, we'll get to the meat stuff because Trump is coming up in about 30 minutes.
Hey, I don't want to be cut off from President Trump. I mean, come on.
Right. We are going to talk about, obviously, stuff going on outside the country, whether it's Venezuela or Cuba or China or Iran, obviously. And you, Peter, you're a guy that throughout your career, not just a congressman here on Long Island, but you deal with the terrorist issue. You've got strong ties with Homeland Security. So you tell me, President Trump has found a way to solve 8 conflicts. We still have Ukraine, Russia. He really believes in his heart of hearts that he's getting close. Maybe next month that thing could be over. What are your thoughts, not about how he's done domestically, about the economy and the midterms and all that, but what are your thoughts on how the president has done with the world stuff, with Joe Biden left the world on fire?
Joe Biden was afraid to assert American power. And I don't just mean firing guns or dropping bombs. Just asserting power, diplomatic power, economic power, and also with the knowledge that American military will be used. President Trump understands the meaning of asserting very positive power and not to be ashamed, not to be apologizing, not somehow saying that the United States has something to be ashamed of here. No, go right in. And so, again, he's getting the results. I mean, a lot of these are going to go on for a while. He settled them, but he's going to stay on top of them. Like, for instance, Israel. It was tremendous the way he brought an end to that. And right now, it appears to be going in the right direction. But he's smart enough to know he can't just walk away and claim victory. He's got to stay there, which is why he has that board set up, why he's going to be staying on it. It's a long haul we're in, and he understands that.
Peter, you're a marvelous guy. You're a terrific friend for many, many, many years. You're a great talent politically and on radio. I can never thank you enough. Thank you for being here this morning. We wanted to get you here. That's how important you are to me. Thank you for all the years of friendship, and I'll talk to you again this week on Sid and Friends in the Morning. Thank you so much.
You got it, Sid. Congratulations.
God bless you. Peter King right there, the great Peter King. Zeb Brenner checking in, and Paul DiGiacomo used to run the DEA. He's a great guy. He now works with Frank Siller, and Tunnel to Towers does a tremendous job. Joanna Wisher, who works in the Trump campaign, she's been here a couple of times. She works with the economy, and her father, Robert, terrific guy. So the texts are coming in nonstop. Look at Jimmy Incorvaya, one of our valued salespeople. I love this guy. He's a great sales guy. Sitting there with Pete Morgan. Who's better than Pete Morgan? Pete Morgan sponsors everything. Everything. I woke up this morning. I brushed my teeth. I was sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Porters. Thank you so much. We'll take a short break. When we get back, President Trump back on Sid and Friends in the Morning. We have a lot to talk about, and a surprise guest who shares the same last name as me. Oh, baby, 8 o'clock hour. Thank you for all the stuff you do for the station, too, John. Thank you. Before I get to President Trump, you folks excited about the president? He's going to be great. I want to get to this kid. He's a little boy. He was born in Florida, unlike his sister. His sister, Ava, she was born in New York City. Gabriel was born at West Boca Medical Center, and he lived in Florida until he was about 8 years old, and I pulled him out of there. He had all these little friends. He's still friends with some of these kids to this day. And I moved him from sunny, beautiful Boca Raton to the mean streets of Phi-Di and the Upper West Side in New York City. Not an easy transition to make. And if you ask my son, who's now 17, 8 years in Florida, 9 years in New York, are you a Floridian or a New Yorker? He'll be quick to say, I think at least, you're a New Yorker, right, Gabriel?
Well, of course. I mean, I've been here for the majority of my life now, and, I mean, Florida's sunny, it's warm, but it's boring. There's nothing to do. You do the same thing every single day. You go to school, you go home, and that's it.
But you were pissed at me. You and your sister were mad, and because I made you and Mommy and all of us move to New York, I said, don't worry, Daddy's got this great job at a radio station in New York City. It wasn't even great then. It's great now because of John and Margot. But I said, don't worry, it's all going to be great. And everybody was like, I don't know. We stopped at Disney on the way up here. Nice move. That even hurt more. But now that you're here, you love New York, you love the Knicks, right? You love the Knicks?
Yeah, and that's also, when I found out that you can just walk to a deli in 5 minutes instead of walking 2-3 miles, that kind of helped a little bit.
Oh, that does help a lot. You're right. I mean, we lived about 2 miles from Glades Road where they had all those stores. But right here, now, do you like the city better or do you like where you live now in Bell Harbor in Queens in that big, beautiful house by the ocean?
Listen, I love where I live. But it's not really exhilarating. It doesn't give you the rush that the city gives. But I love the people way more than the city. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't stand the people in the city.
They're horrible people.
Terrible.
Terrible people. And you brought your friend along. Now, you've known Christian White. His father's a great guy, by the way, and his mom, too. You've known him for 2 different schools in New York City, right?
Yeah, just about a decade now.
About a decade. Christian, thanks for coming in this morning.
Of course. It's an
now,
honor.
You go to schools that try to indoctrinate all of you kids.
Yep.
They do terrible things to these children. You have no idea. We got to sue every school they go to. But yet you, Christian, black, young, male, living in New York City, going to these, these liberal schools, you love this show and you love President Trump. I shouldn't say that on the air, I guess, but I guess I just outed you. Hope your mom's not listening. But on a serious note, you're not afraid to talk about what you like politically.
No, because I believe in truth, and I think that lying is one of the worst things you can do, and I think our school kind of perpetuates lies. They don't go based off of any type of logic or statistics. It's just based off of emotion. Like, I feel this is true, so it is true. They tried to teach us, like, 2 years ago, a new version of racism, which was, like, basically black people can't be racist.
And you're a black person.
Yeah.
And I would say to you that, I don't know, Joy Reid, kind of iffy, don't you think? Al Sharpton, kind of iffy, don't you think? So you do believe that, and anybody can be racist.
Anybody
obviously.
can.
Right.
If you go based off of the definition, it's having a prejudice against someone,
Right.
which can be anyone. So.
But you don't really deal with that a lot in the city, do you? In school, or I know you live in the Bronx, right? So
Yeah.
do you deal with a lot of racist issues, racism issues?
I live in Riverdale, which is a predominantly Jewish neighborhood.
Right.
And
Well, you want to be
very-
Jewish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're tired of being black.
I mean-
Whatever. You want to be Jewish.
Live in a Jewish neighborhood, go to a school with mostly Jews.
Where's
I'm
Rabbi
gonna-
Potajnik? Is he still out there? Will you bar mitzvah this kid today, Rabbi? You mind? Have you been circumcised yet, Christian? We can do that live on the air. We get big ratings, huge ratings. No, it is predominantly Jewish. I live there too, don't you know? Me and Danielle lived there years ago. Yeah. Well, you got the place all riled up now.
Turns
Christian.
out I'm going to work at a Jewish camp, the 92Y.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to that. Gaby, so what do you think now that we're here all these years? And, Gabe is the type of kid who'll walk up to me and go, Daddy, I'm proud of you. Daddy, I love you. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. So what do you think now that we're here and celebrating this 10-year anniversary today?
I knew you couldn't stay in Florida. I knew you liked Florida. I knew you liked the weather. You liked some people there. But I knew that your heart belonged in New York, and that's where you were meant to be. And of course, I'm always going to believe in you. You're my father. So, honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm just really proud of you.
Oh. That's all a parent wants to hear. That's it. I mean, Trump is coming up next, and you can make a lot of money, and you could have a grand. You're all looking at me. You're all parents in the audience. That's all a parent wants to hear. And it wasn't always so easy. We went through some hard times, Mommy, you, me, and Ava. But you've always been so supportive, and you're my only son. And I love you to pieces. Thank you so much.
I love you too.
Proud of you. You too, Christian. That's Gabriel Rosenberg and Christian White. We're going to take a short break so I can wipe my eyes. And when we get back, we're going to talk to the 45th and now the 47th President of the United States. The great Donald J. Trump is next on Sid and Friends in the morning. I love this man, sincerely and literally love him. The greatest president ever, Donald J. Trump. Good morning, Mr. President.
Well, you can't give me a better introduction than that. I would say that's not so bad, huh? That's great. Well, we have good news. We got the last, as you know, the hostages back, and we got the last of the dead back. Sad. And those parents they wanted the body of their son back more, just like almost more than anything I've ever seen before. It's amazing. We got we got the 20 back. We got many before that, hundreds before that. But that last 20 we said are going to be rough, and we got them back. And now we got all of the dead back. Remember, everyone said that would be impossible. We just got the last one back today, so I know you're happy about that.
I'm so happy, and I have to tell you, I speak to so many prominent Jewish figures. As you know, President Trump, Yehuda Kaplan, one of your guys, so many others around the country, and they were celebrating you all day because, let's be honest, okay? If Biden was the president, or if Harris, God forbid, she would have won, those people would still be in those tunnels getting raped, getting murdered. It would be awful. I don't know how you did it. I got to be honest, President Trump. But from all the Jewish people and Christians around the world, thank you so much.
Well, actually, Sid, I think really you wouldn't have Israel right now if that were the case, because there wouldn't have been that whole situation that we did Midnight Hammer where we knocked out the nuclear power. They would have used that if they had it. And I don't think you'd have Israel. I really don't think so. The attack wouldn't have taken place, wouldn't have been allowed to have taken place. They instead would have been attacked. Think of it. Somebody was saying it today. I never gave it that kind of thought because we like to think a little more positively. But they were saying today, you wouldn't have Israel. I don't think Israel would be around. During that 60-day negotiation, so much took place in terms of readiness and getting it done. The famous 60-day negotiation.
Yes.
And so I don't think you would have had. I really don't think you would have had Israel around. If you want to know that.
I agree with you.
dangerous time.
I agree, and I think Bibi agrees. And, just a couple of days ago, President Trump, I know you know this, but they shut the airspace in Israel. I've got all these friends. They live in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, all over the country, And they text me at 2 o'clock in the morning, we just shut the airspace. I said, what the hell's going on, But, of course, Iran keeps threatening us. They keep threatening you. So Israel kind of replies in turn. But I think the Israelis, I'll speak for them, okay? I think they're very, very confident with you at the helm that this Iran thing will eventually get fixed and go America's way, Israel's way, and quite frankly, President Trump, the world's way.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of support. We have a big armada going over there right now, and hopefully we won't have to use it, but it's very powerful and bigger than what we have in Venezuela that we sent over. That worked out so well, and the leadership there is doing a very good job coordinating with us and everything else. But we have a big armada going over there, and we'll see. Hopefully we won't have to use it.
You mentioned the armada, you mentioned Iran, and I got to go to the mayor here because people in New York love you. I walk past the Trump Tower every day. There's not a conversation, President Trump, I don't have with you or your daughter-in-law. She's coming on today, or your son, Eric. I don't bring up New York. I know you still love New York. And you had a meeting with the mayor in your office a couple of months ago, and you guys got along really, really well. And that was, I'll be honest, because I love you, odd for me because I spend a lot of time, I'm being honest, bad-mouthing the mayor. And I got to say this. The last couple of weeks, he's so nice to you. Hochul does the same thing. She's so nice to you, then she kills you. Walls today, I'm sure, was very, very nice to you, then he kills you. Mamdani was angry about the Maduro capture, as great as that was. He called your administration evil after Good was murdered, Mr. President. He actually came out and said he wants to abolish ICE on The View and in a tweet yesterday. So I want to give the guy a chance because you are, but when people badmouth Trump, I get very upset. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's politics. I see it with so many. They'll be so nice to me. You don't know how nice they are. I mean, at a level that you have rarely heard, and then you'll see them 3 days later on a show or something, and they'll be knocking the hell out of you. And it's politics. And you know what? I do the same to them. I'm nice to them, and then I'm not so nice maybe when I'm talking about them as a politician, which I hate to call myself, but I guess ultimately I'm a politician, right? But, it's politics. It's a nasty world. It's a nasty profession, if you want to know the truth. It really is. But I got along very well with him. We had some good meetings, some good talks, and he's the way he is. I guess you're not going to change. You grow up a certain way, and you sort of tend to be the certain way, but they got to do a good job for New York. What I want to see is New York be successful. And if he could help make it successful, make it much more successful, because now it's heading in the wrong direction. Losing people, you saw where I said the New York Stock Exchange, having a major stock exchange built in Dallas is not a good thing. Right. Okay, that's a real bad thing. Oh my God. And it's by the owners of the New York Stock Exchange. They're the ones doing it. And I would have talked to them, tried to get them to not do that if I were the mayor of New York. That's a big deal. That's not a positive thing for New York.
So is it fair to say then, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. You're the president, the greatest president ever. But the jury's still out. You say nice things, but if New York doesn't get better, if there's an issue with the Jewish people, you mentioned the stock exchange, is it fair to say the jury is still out when it comes to Trump and the mayor?
Well, it is. I mean, I think he's got a really good personality. I think he's got, tremendous assets, but he's got some things. Forget about what he says about me. I don't really care about that. It's policy. It's, concepts that really haven't worked over the last 10,000 years, to be honest with you. They haven't worked. Yeah. And maybe you can get them to work, but a lot of people think that can't happen. So got to be very careful. When people leave, when you have a stock exchange opening up in Texas, when, things like that happen, makes your job really makes your job a lot harder. I'd love to see him be successful, because if he's successful, that means that's a good thing for New York. So I would love to see him be successful. And, those policies, the ones that I'm hearing about, typically haven't worked. Not typically, they've never worked anywhere ever.
Never.
So
Yeah, and then you get
so
the,
I don't want to. I don't want to see that.
the governor's race. Hochul is the same creature. You know, she calls you and she's loves you, and then she goes on one of these channels here, and she's not very nice. But we've got our mutual friend who just won his second consecutive race, Mr. President, Nassau County, Bruce Blakeman. He's now running for governor. How great, Mr. President, would Bruce Blakeman be as the governor of our state?
Well, he's a fantastic guy, and I know him very well. I've supported him always, and he won in Nassau County, and that's like impossible for a Republican. Not only that, he just had an election. He won in a landslide. He's a great guy. He would be an amazing governor. You're right about Kathy Hochul. She is so nice to me. She calls me, "Hi, President. Hi. How you doing?" Cannot be nicer. She wants to build windmills all over the place. It's like crazy. But she cannot be nicer. And then I'll see her the following day on television knocking the hell out of me. I said, you're very disloyal when you call me and you're so nice. And then all of a sudden, it's like just a weird thing. I know when she's calling because it says Buffalo, New York. I pick up. I say, I know exactly, Buffalo, New York. Yeah. And I love Buffalo. I love the whole state. But when she calls and she's nice, and then the following morning she'll just, rip you. It's so dishonest. People understand it, but it's dishonest. I handle it because I understand politics, and that's the way it is. It's pretty sad.
Well, you understand politics, and not to patronize you, which I do all day, every day, but you're a mensch. You are. I mean, I laugh when I hear people speak badly about you. They don't know you. You're the nicest guy in the world. There's nothing you wouldn't do for anybody. Tim Walz, for example, he calls you today. You say, "I'll help you out in Minnesota." He's been killing you, killing ICE, killing America. Him and that awful mayor from Minneapolis, Fry. All they do every day is kill Trump.
He called me too. Yeah. I just spoke to Jacob Fry. I just spoke to him. He called me.
Oh, so you spoke to both of them?
We had a great conversation.
Yeah.
Actually, they were both great conversations. So let's hope that turns out to be so. So we'll see if we can get that. What we've done is so many locations have no crime now. We send in the military. We send in the National Guard. We do what we have to do. And, I mean, look at Memphis. Crime is down 77% in 4 weeks. Look at the greatest, Washington, D.C. This place was really dangerous, and now it's the safest place you have in the country. There's no crime whatsoever. It's amazing. New Orleans, we have, I would say, after 4 weeks, we have the crime down more than 60%. I tell you what, if I were a Democrat governor or mayor, I would be calling Trump. I would say, "Get over here, make me look good," because people are looking at me. If you see crime go down, we brought crime down in Chicago, and we did a minor job compared to what we could do. We could have virtually no crime in Chicago, virtually no crime within a few months. We did that in D.C. After 1 month, we had very little, and now we have virtually no crime. It's crazy that they're not wanting this. But I had two very good talks. I had Jacob Fry and I had Governor Walz, and I mean they were great calls. So let's see how they report it. But they were very nice calls, very respectful.
So is there a possibility, President Trump, of some type of compromise? I read that some of the Guard will be leaving the state of Minnesota, some type of compromise to, I guess, make those guys feel like they're in charge, even though, God help us.
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think so. What we need is their criminals. They have criminals, and all I said, just give us your criminals. And if you give us the criminals, it all goes away. They're there to pick up murders. I don't know if you saw, but it was a couple of days ago announced that crime is the lowest in the history of our country, the recorded history of our country.
Wow.
That's a big statement. That's because of us. That's because we go into cities and towns. Usually we're embraced. Sometimes we're not. Chicago is like pulling teeth with Pritzker and with the mayor of Chicago, low IQ person. And usually we're embraced, but sometimes we're not. And when we're not, it just makes it harder. Now, we've had a positive impact in Chicago, but that's just, like an enforced, we go in there without any support whatsoever, except from the people. They have women walking around all over Chicago wearing "Make America Great" hats. I mean, all over the place.
Yeah.
MAGA,
Yep.
"Make America Great Again," and they're I mean, fantastic women, beautiful black women with MAGA hats on. Think of it. And they want us to be in there because they don't want to be mugged or anything else. They don't want to be killed. And we have so many of them. You look around Chicago, they have people that you wouldn't suspect it, and they have MAGA hats on because they want us to go in. They want to have a safe. They don't want to get knocked on the head or worse.
Of course not. And Bowser actually came along and said, thank you, President Trump. Bowser in D.C., no one could have ever predicted that. So, again, I'm not sure about Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker, but because they're just not good people. But at the end of the day, you're doing amazing work in this country, so that does bode the question. We need to win in November. We need to win. I know you made the address to Congress. The last thing I want is my dear friend every day. I don't want to hear that word ever again. Impeach, I hate that word. We need to win in November. Do you really feel in your heart of hearts we got a good shot?
I think so, other than statistically, you know the numbers better than anybody. You report them as well as anybody. But statistically, when a president wins, they lose the midterms. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense, even if it's a successful president. And I don't think any president's had a better first year than we've had. We've had such accomplishments with the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in history. How about ending 8 wars and probably another one coming? You know what that is. But ending all these wars and everything else, I do it almost by second nature. You know, I know how to do it. I've ended wars that have been going on for 35 years. I will say Putin with a certain war, I don't want to say which one. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but there was a certain war. He said, I can't believe you got that war ended. I've been trying to do it for 10 years. Wow. I said, don't tell me about that war. Let me get your war done. Right. That's the one I'm interested in right now. Yeah. So, and there's a shot at doing that. Last month, 27,000 soldiers died. 31,000 the month before. I mean, you have no idea. It's like a bloodbath going on there, to use a word that they brought up inappropriately when I said it in a very appropriate manner. You remember the word?
I do.
Bloodbath with the fake media.
Yep.
I always call it. The fake media took that word and used it in a very different light. But it's a bloodbath over there. There's so many soldiers being killed, and I'd like to see that stopped.
Yeah, and you actually thought that would be the easiest one. You've told me that many times that I thought that would be the easiest one.
I thought it would be one of the easy ones. Right. I did. Yeah, I did a war that 35 years. Well, look at India and Pakistan. I did that. Yep. That was raging. It was that could have been a real bad one. 2 nuclear countries. The Prime Minister of Pakistan said he saved 10 million lives, and they actually told me over the week because I saw him at the Board of Peace. He's on the Board of Peace. He said 10 million lives is a low number. It's much more than that. Yeah. You can imagine. So
I believe it.
So we do a good job, and all we can do is a good job, and they'll have to see what happens with the midterms. The word affordability, that's a word that they made up, but they're the ones that caused the problem. We have brought prices way down, and they're going lower. Look at gasoline. So we're hitting $1.99 a gallon in gasoline. Think of that. $1.99, $1.99. It's $2.30, $2.50 an average, but it's down to in some states $1.99. One hit $1.95 today, and you know when oil comes down, everything comes down. But we're doing good. Then we had the Venezuela situation 2 weeks ago, and that was amazing.
Amazing.
We're helping them, and we're benefiting very greatly financially as a country. So it's great stuff is happening, Sid.
Great stuff. And then 2 more we'll let you run. This is President Trump. Last week you mentioned Davos. What a week for you. Again, I mean, I got to say this. You know, no disrespect to the other world leaders. I'm sure they're very nice guys. You know them, I don't, okay? But when you stand up there, you're the boss. You are the boss. You know, I look, and Putin looks at you the same way that I do. Just, you know, this guy, you just demand the stage, you demand the camera. There's never been anybody like you. And between what you accomplished with Greenland, which is coming closer and closer, and the Board of Peace, that was a heck of a couple of days in Switzerland, Mr. President.
Yeah, no, it was great. A lot of great things happened. That was an amazing Davos. That was the best one they've ever had, probably. But it was amazing. No, the Greenland thing is coming along well, and Board of Peace is going to be amazing. We have peace in the Middle East. Think of it. Did you ever think you'd have peace in the Middle East?
No.
We have peace in the Middle East.
No.
And now on top of it, we have the Board of Peace just to assure things go well. and can probably spread to other territories as we need them. But largely, the wars are put out. Most of the wars are put out, almost all of them. And I didn't know they had 8 wars when I was running. I never even thought about it, but I ended up putting out 8 wars, and we have a 9th one coming, I believe.
Amazing. Last one. We're down to the Patriots and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I know you love football. I do, too. Do you know, you might not even know this, that I had, me and my dad, God rest his soul, had season tickets to your Jersey Generals. I saw Herschel Walker, Doug Flutie, all those guys play for you way back when at Giant Stadium. But, yeah, but when I found out that they're going to have Bad Bunny and Green Day perform at halftime, this Jay-Z's no good, just so you know, President Trump. And it almost seems like Roger Goodell and the halftime people, they pick their shows just to piss you off. I swear to God, because they're so nasty to you. So I'm with you. I'm very angry with the National Football League. There's a million acts I can find out there that love you, love the country. How about one of those guys?
Well, I thought it was a strange choice. The one in particular, I guess, is a very strange choice. And I don't know what they do. I don't know why they do a new kickoff rule. You know, they say safety, but I can't imagine that's a lot safer. And if it was, you're changing the game. I don't know if it bothers you, but it bothers me when I look at that NFL kickoff. Yeah. It's so bad.
Yeah,
it's so bad. It's so horrible that they can do that. It takes all the glamour away from the game. It's not the same. You see these kickers there. I don't even know what they're doing. They're punching the ball forward now. It used to be you got a big salary if you could kick it out of the end zone. Now they're doing sort of just the opposite. And, you see the ball floating in the air and everybody's standing still. They're not allowed to move. Right. The whole thing is crazy. But, hey, look, I just want everybody to be healthy, happy, and successful.
I think the Giants hired John Harbaugh because of you. I really do.
Right. Well, he's great. I mean, him and his brother, they're great. That family is fantastic. They actually came up to the White House a few months ago with the mother and father, 2 brothers, mother and father. They're great football coaches. I think the Giants, look, they have a real coach. I think he's going to do fantastically well.
So do I. And you were great during that Washington Commander game. I still call them the Redskins. I'll let you run. And now you got a bunch of very important people to call.
That's all right.
Thank you again for what you did for me with the Holocaust Council, inviting me up on stage at the White House. You're an amazing man, Donald J. Trump, a great president, a great man, and somebody that hundreds of years from now, our great-grandchildren will be learning about, because no one has ever done it like you, and no one ever will. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for your friendship and what you do for this country.
Nice. And happy anniversary for you. You know, that's big stuff, right?
Yeah.
If people knew the entertainment business, they would say that's an amazing thing you've done. But I think you've been my friend for a long time, and I appreciate it.
God bless you, President Trump. I love you. Thanks.
So long, Sid. Take care. Bye.
Take care. There he is, the great 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. I want to bring up the Rabbi Joe Potajnik. He's a wonderful guy, become a good friend of mine over the years. And a lot of my fight here is for the city, no question about it, but for the Jewish people specifically, especially since October the 7th, when I became a really badass Jew, And Potajnik has been so great to me. And I call him out once in a while because I don't like the liberals in this city. But truth be told, he's just a wonderful guy, a great fighter. So good to see you, Rabbi Joe. How are you?
Thank you, Sid. I just want to tell you, firstly, I look at that belt you have on the desk. I know the president was given someone else's Nobel Peace Prize. Hulk Hogan give you that? Is something from his wrestling days?
I think we stole it from Tyrus at Fox News.
Israel commissioned an anniversary coin on the 10th anniversary of the state. And when asked why, one of the leaders said, because after 10 years, you're here to stay.
Wow.
And I just want you to know, 10 years for you, it means there's a great future ahead of you as well. So mazel tov, as we say, and you deserve it. This is not a DEI appointment that you got here. You got it on merit, and we're very proud of you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rabbi. Rabbi does a great show, too, Sunday morning before John's Catch Roundtable show with A.R. Bernard, so we get the Christian guy, we get the Jewish guy. It's really terrific. And Look, you've been trying to help out a little bit with this new administration, make sure that what we see at the Park East Synagogue, what we saw a couple of weeks ago, Rabbi, in Rego Park, Queens, that type of stuff, if it's going to happen, it can't happen unnoticed. I know Jessica Tisch, she's great. She's the New York Police Commissioner. She's Jewish. She really cares. But so do you. You really spend your days and nights trying to protect New Yorkers. That's a big deal.
After the slaughter that took place at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, the rabbi stood up and said the following. When we said never again years ago, did we put a question mark after it or an exclamation mark? And I think what we see now is many people think there's a question mark there. We wonder, could it happen again? But as long as people will stand up, speak the truth, not be timid, not apologize for being Jews, then I think we're going to see an exclamation mark there.
You do. So in wrapping this conversation up, you are optimistic that there are better days ahead because the numbers for anti-Semitism, looking at my friend Gabriel Boxer, another great fighter for the Jews, this kid's terrific, the numbers are still not in our favor. You remain optimistic.
We survived Pharaoh. We'll get through this as well.
God bless you. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Well, you're the best. You really are. I got to apologize to a lot of people. I've instituted a second day of Yom Kippur because of my friendship with you. But you know what?
You're funny.
You're a proud Jew. And
Thank
that's
you.
what we need. People who are proud of, whether it's Christian, whatever your tradition is, be proud of who you are. That's what matters most. Thank you so much.
God bless you. That's Rabbi Joseph Potasnik here on Sid and Friends in the Morning. Terrific guy, great New Yorker, not just for the Jewish community, but for all of us here in this city. We'll take a break. When we get back, we just spoke to the president. How about his daughter-in-law? How great is Laura Trump? She's coming up next. Laura Trump and Sean Hannity. She's been there for me, every week, every 2 weeks for years. And there's no way there's an anniversary show without the great Laura Trump, even though her father-in-law was on less than an hour ago. Laura, good morning. How are you?
Well, I guess we're saving the best for last. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know how to get me on here because every time you play Toto, it gets me all hyped up and I'm ready to go. So keep it going.
Will you tell me how that song specifically, Africa by Toto, ends up being your dance with Eric?
You know what's funny is when you think about first dance songs, they're all kind of sappy and slow and whatever. And Eric and I were both like, we want something different. And I don't know what it was about that song, but we both, when we first met, loved that song and talked about how much we loved that song and would listen to it a lot together. And so one day one of us was just like, should we just do Africa by Toto as our first dance? And the other one was like, can we do that? And I think we just said, yeah, we could do that. And I sort of love it. It's a very unusual first dance song. But listen, Sid, we're on 12 years of marriage, and God, I don't even want to tell you how long we've known each other and how long we dated before that. But it's been a little bit of time, so knock on wood, I guess it's working out okay.
Working out great. You got two beautiful children, little Luke there, and, of course, Carolina, being that you're from North Carolina. You're a great family. And, again, your father-in-law on last hour. We talked about all of it. Minneapolis, what's going on there. And there seems to be a little bit of a compromise now between the Trump administration and the two guys out in Minnesota. It was just ironic that yesterday DJT spoke to both Walz, the governor, and Fry, the mayor. And as he's done a lot during this term, more than the first time, he comes away and says nice things about these people, whether it's Mamdani, who, again, he had nice things to say about him. My conversation with him an hour ago here in New York, or those two guys in Minnesota. And I know what he's trying to do. He just wants to work with people. He wants to make sure New York is great again. He wants to make sure Minnesota doesn't completely fall apart. It's a mess right now. So he's smart in that respect, your father-in-law. He wants to work with people. But the truth is it's been a complete mess out there, and a lot of it is because of those guys, because they're encouraging these people to do what they're doing.
Yeah, well, look, where has it been a problem? You've had ICE operations underway for a year now, right, since President Trump was back for the second term. And, Sid, you look around the rest of the country, 25% of the arrests that ICE is making are solely in the state of Texas. When have you seen an issue like anything that's gone on in Minnesota, in Texas? You haven't seen something like that. Look around the rest of the country. What is the common denominator every time there seems to be an issue, and especially in Minnesota? It's Democrat leadership. It's people who are pushing back on this administration solely based on politics. They are not interested in following the law. They're not interested in the laws of the land as Congress voted on them and put them into play here in the country. They don't care about that. They want to push back on anything President Trump is doing. And I think everybody has to acknowledge that. They have fanned the flames, and they have created such a hostile environment for these ICE agents who are literally just trying to enforce law and conduct a law enforcement operation there, that it's become a very dangerous, very unstable situation. And now there's been tragedies that have happened because of it. And I think you're right when you point out what this president has done and the way he operates. Look, this is the ultimate negotiator. He's a consummate businessman. That has been sort of who Donald Trump was before he became a politician, which he still hates the term politician. Don't call him that to his face. He hates being called that.
Funny.
But he wants the right things to happen, and he understands once he reads people enough how they're going to respond best. And whether it's Mom Donnie, whether it's Fry, whether it's Waltz, although he doesn't agree with them in the way they approach a lot of situations, he wants the best outcome for New York City, for Minnesota, for everybody in this country. And so he's willing to come together and play nice and at least speak nicely about these people so that the best outcome is possible, because sometimes you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. And President Trump, of course, knows that.
Nailed it. And he actually said to me, it's funny you say that during the conversation, he goes, I mean, I guess I'm a politician. I don't know. I guess I am. So you're right. I don't think he really likes. He doesn't like that. You know, he's like, I'm a business guy. I guess I'm a politician. But you're right. Yeah, that's how he deals with people, and it's worked. You know, it worked with China. Obviously, it worked with Putin for a little while. Putin now, I think he's gone completely off the rails. But even these world leaders that work with North Korea, you know, when he approaches these people, look what he did with the border peace in Switzerland. Last week, a lot of those countries not exactly best friends over the years of the United States. So whatever he does, it does seem to work. He's got a great way of working with people. And you look at it, look, Lara, we just, a week ago, we celebrated his 1 year stay. He's only in his second year of 4 years. And, I mean, can you imagine any other person in the world ever? I'll go back to George Washington. I don't care. Doing what he's done in just over a year.
I mean, I don't think most presidents in 2 full terms could dream of the last year that President Trump just had. The wins that he scored for the country, for the world, the peace he's brought about. I mean, you look at the lives that this president single-handedly has saved. You've seen an almost 25% drop in the overdose deaths by drugs in this country since we started blowing these drug boats out of the water. They're foreign terrorists. They are bringing in a weapon of mass destruction with fentanyl, and President Trump said they got to go. We're shutting down the border. Almost 25% decline in overdose deaths. That equates to somewhere around 20 to 25,000 lives that have been saved, Sid. That alone, I mean, think about the lives that have been changed, the families that are impacted across the country because of that. But I'll take it a step further. How about the 8 conflicts around the world where people were dying on a daily basis, some by, the hundreds? This president has completely eradicated them. They don't exist anymore. I would say that Donald Trump has saved more lives in the past year than any other single person, I'm going to say in history, alone has been able to do. It's been sort of amazing to watch. But then you couple that with the economy that is coming back, that I think everyone has to acknowledge. If you go to the gas pump, if you go to the grocery store, if you're, trying to get a mortgage for your house, all of these things are trending in the right direction. We are respected on the world stage again. Look how he was received in Davos last week, and compare that to, Joe Biden, who was there 2 years ago. It's a completely different situation. The past year has been incredible, and the fact that we have 3 more ahead of us, I'm going to tell everybody right now, buckle up, sit back, enjoy the next 3 years. You will never see something like this happen in America ever again.
God, you are great. With Biden, you hope he didn't fall off the stage. Forget about doing any real deals.
He had to be redirected by Giorgia Meloni. They go to some of these conferences with the other world leaders, and how embarrassing for America. The guy doesn't even know where he's going.
Oh, it was terrible. It was, and I said to your father-in-law when he was on an hour ago, I said, you're the boss. You stand up there, and even Putin, and I joke around, he hangs up the phone, he says, whatever you want, Mr. President, then he bombs Ukraine like 5 minutes later. But he looks at him like he's, a matinee idol, like a lot of us do. And he's got that type of charisma. He's just a very, very charismatic person, and it works for him, obviously, in the position that he's in. But he did say one thing, and Lara, this is where we all get very, very nervous and can't talk enough about it. That's the midterms. It's this November. And there are still a healthy amount of Republicans that are very, very concerned and nervous. We're going to lose them. And I said, be honest with me, Mr. President. He said, look, Sid, the history says Republican president, we don't win. He said, I know what else I can do. He said, even if the president's doing a really good job, we still don't win the midterms. It was a very honest answer. I think he wants to believe we're going to do well because we don't want to hear the word impeach ever again. But even with all these great things he's done and an improving economy, that remains a fear for people like me, Lara Trump, come November.
Well, and it should remain a fear, and it should remain a fear for every person out there who voted for President Trump. And it should inspire and encourage every single one of them to get out and get involved in these midterms. What typically happens is obviously a presidential election year. People are excited. People are out there. They're in full force. Look at 2024, the historic number of people who came out to vote in that election. You go to a midterm election year, people are like, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to let other people handle this. No, get nervous and get serious about this because this is all within our control. Look, at the RNC, Michael Watley and I, when we were there, made sure we set a blueprint up for incoming whoever it might be, who's the chair and co-chair of the RNC, to ensure election integrity. They know how to operate on that front. But this is fully in control of the American voter. We do have free, fair, and transparent elections now. And because of that, you can feel confident and comfortable going out to vote. But you have to get out to vote, and you have to ensure that your friends and neighbors do too. If you sit this one on the sidelines and you say, you know what, it's a little chilly today, it's a little this, a little that, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to lose these. But if every person understands how serious this is and they take it that seriously, then we can absolutely buck history. We can absolutely win. And not only is it important, Sid, because, yeah, you're right. My God, the first thing they're going to do, these lunatics on the left, is impeach President Trump. We know they're foaming at the mouth and chomping at the bit to get to do that. But they're also going to do a couple other things that are going to be very dangerous. They're going to pack the Supreme Court. They're going to grant D.C. and Puerto Rico statehood. And they're going to eliminate the filibuster, which the president talked about during that government shutdown this fall. These are all things that are going to be so detrimental to the future of America because it means full control of the left, maybe in perpetuity in this country. Look at how they've behaved in Minnesota. Look at how crazy they've gotten in some of these blue-run cities and states. We don't want to see that nationwide. God bless everybody in New York. We're praying for you to survive this Mamdani regime. But once you get on the other side of that, we're hoping for the best. But it's not even going to matter if the Democrats have full control. So let's get serious. Let's buckle up, and let's make sure that we buck tradition this November.
I say it all the time. I say it right to your father-in-law's face. I think you're the most impressive Trump. What can I tell you? You really are. I swear to God, you've been great on this show for so many years. So many years. My listeners love you. I love you. Your husband's great too and all that, but you're special. My View is 9 p.m. on Saturday nights on Fox News. You can check out Lara Trump there. And if God is good to us, the next Trump that will be in office will be the lady on the phone right now. Lara, you're great. Thank you.
Best.
Come on.
Happy anniversary. I'm honored to be on with you on a really special day. Thank you for having me. And I always appreciate you. Keep spitting the truth out there to people, Sid, because we all need to hear it. Keep it up. And God bless for the next 10, 20, 30, 50 to come. We'll all be listening.
I love you, Lara Trump. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for today. God bless you. We'll talk again very soon.
You got it, my friend.
Lara Trump, everybody. There she is. She is something else. She's great. She really is great. We'll take a short break. We're not even done with these big-name guests. Everybody moves to Florida. Like my next guest, who for years and years was Mr. Long Island, but now lives in Florida. He's still Mr. Fox News, has a radio show on about 800 stations, and everybody who's in this business should aspire to be my friend Sean Hannity, who's a great guy. President Trump loves him, I love him, and America loves him. Sean Hannity, welcome back to Sid and Friends in the Morning, buddy. How are you?
Sid and friends in the morning, 10 successful, unbelievable years. I can't believe it. Congratulations. I hope you're still digging out from all that snow this weekend. It was only 86 degrees yesterday, but it's going to be cold today. It's only going to be about 67. Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Listen.
Not good for my blood.
I know there's not one conversation between the two of us, Sean. For a guy that you love Long Island, and of course you'll always be a big deal here in New York. I mean, you're as big as it gets. But not one conversation goes by where you don't extol the virtues of South Florida. It's fair to say, Sean Hannity,
it's not
you
just
love it
South
there.
Florida. It's all of Florida.
Yeah.
And the odd thing is, for many years you were down here, and I was up in New York.
Right.
And now I'm down here, and you're wishing you were down here, and don't lie, you wish you were down here. Be honest.
It's not. Except for New Year's in Miami Beach. It's not a horrible place to be. But if I'm not here, who is going to hold Mom Donnie accountable? Sean, you're in Florida.
No,
your friend
listen,
Trump is in D.C. It's got to be me.
Listen, you can't hold Mom Donnie accountable. He will be unaccountable. I'm telling you right now. You have basically, Mom Donnie runs New York. Kathy Hochul is like Mom Donnie's chief of staff. And because whatever Mom Donnie wants Kathy Hochul to do, she's going to do. Period. End of sentence. Because she knows if she doesn't get his endorsement, that she's probably toast. Look, nothing would make me happier than for Bruce Blakeman to win and become the next governor of New York. I think it would be great for New York State. I think if they opened up energy exploration, fracking in upstate New York, it would save upstate New York. I think Bruce could revitalize New York and stop chasing companies out. When J.P. Morgan chase now, do you ever watch the History Channel and the series that they have, The Men That Built America? Sure. And you have J.P. Morgan, and you have the Rockefellers, and you have the Carnegies, and you have, all these great, iconic names of New York, and all these people that were great entrepreneurs that built out America. And when you have more J.P. Morgan employees that work in Texas than in New York, you've got a problem.
Yeah. It's so funny you say that. It's so funny you say that because I just had President Trump on an hour ago. It's so funny you say that, Sean. He goes, I got a big issue with Mom Donnie. You know what it is? The fact that the stock exchange just built.
They are leaving.
In Dallas.
They're going to Dallas.
Yes.
Goodbye. See ya. And, if he goes forward with his tax plans, and my prediction is Kathy Hochul, governor in name only, Schumer, leader in name only in the Senate, Hakeem Jeffries, leader, in name only in the House, AOC, the Squad, the Radicals, the Mom Donnies, they own your state. Here's the biggest problem you have. When you push people like Sean Hannity out, and I'm a nobody, I'm nothing, but you push out all these big banks. If you look at every Wall Street bank, every private equity company, every single investment firm, they're all down in South Florida. Wall Street South exists. It's real, and you're watching a mass exodus of wealth out of your state, and you can calculate it. They're watching it, and they think they're clever by chasing these companies. There are more New York tax agents in Florida than there are in New York. But the problem is people that run big companies are not dumb. And they hire accountants, they hire lawyers, they follow the law, and they do it the right way. I will tell everybody this, you're just there 180 some odd days plus one, and you're a resident. That's complete BS. I sold everything. I don't go back to New York ever. I'm done. I moved, my business operations down here legally. I surrendered my home. I surrendered my registration. I canceled any club I was a member of. There's a list of 65 things you've got to do. I surrendered my New York carry permit, all of it. you have to do, all of these things and then never go back to New York if you really want to get away from New York. You have to escape.
Yeah, like the movie says, escape from New York. But I got to tell you, Sean, as bad as it is here, and it's bad, okay, I'm the first to tell you.
Okay, you're going to give me a but. There's no but. It's bad.
No, I'm going to give you a but. I'm going to give you a worse place.
You know what? The owner of your radio station is moving down here. What does that tell you?
He is in St. Petersburg all the time, that big, beautiful new building on 400 Central Avenue.
You know what? He's not stupid.
No, he's not. But I'm going to give you a worse place than New York. And again, Trump and I just discussed this last hour. It seems like, Sean Hannity, there may be some type of compromise in place. He said, Sid, just yesterday I spoke to both the Governor Walz and the Mayor Fry. He said, I had great conversations. He goes, they're actually not bad guys. They're nice guys.
Mayor French Fry, small fry.
Yeah,
he's an idiot. He's a moron.
Right.
And Walz is probably the dumbest politician in the history of mankind.
Right, but Trump can't say that. Why? Because he wants to fix what's going on in Minnesota. So you know Trump feels the same way that you do and I do, but he doesn't say it. He says all the right things. There's going to be a compromise. Do you think Minnesota will be fixed?
Well, I think they're going to do everything they can. Here, the only Walz may have said all the right things to President Trump, and according to the president, he did. He may have said everything that they will assist, they will help, they'll stop protecting, aiding, and abetting all of the illegals. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hardened criminals, murderers, rapists, child molesters, drug dealers that have been arrested because ICE has been on the ground in Minnesota, and all they have gotten is nothing but grief. And so now all of a sudden they say they'll cooperate. Do I think they really mean it? Well, you have to believe a guy that referred to ICE as the Gestapo, called them Nazis, and a mayor, small fry, that is probably as bad as that idiot Mamdani, and that's saying that they'll cooperate. I just don't believe it. That guy said, "Get the F out of Minneapolis." Oh, okay. You're doing such a good job, keeping the people safe and secure. They have taken the worst of the worst, illegal immigrants that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas allowed into this country. And Donald Trump was handed a mess. And they've been doing a great job overall. I'm not saying it's perfect. They've done a great job of cleaning up the mess that these people have left. But when you have over 12 million unvetted Harris, Biden, Mayorkas illegals, it is not an easy task, and they're doing their best to clean up the mess they inherited, just like the mess on the economy they inherited. We see massive changes in the economy, and I'm very optimistic about the economy for 26, and I think we're going to see, the largest tax cuts in history. You want to help working men and women? No tax on tips and overtime. Want to help the elderly? No tax on Social Security. Then you have energy prices, the lowest in 4+ years. Inflation now at getting down to that Fed number, that desired number of 2.0%. You see inflation down. Interest rates now, you can get a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage in the 5s. That was impossible under Biden. It was 7 and 8%. You see trillions of dollars in committed manufacturing coming online this year. That's going to be high-paying career jobs for Americans. It's accelerated by 100% depreciation in year one. Add to that, the largest tax cuts in history. Add to that energy-dominant policies in the country. I mean, we really are the Atlanta Fed for fourth quarter GDP, when that comes out this next month. They're predicting 5.4% growth.
Yep.
Okay, but Joe Biden was at 0% growth. His inflation for the 4 years he was in office was close to 6%. So, gas prices, we were paying $4 and $5 a gallon in some places. And all of that's coming down. So, I'm pretty optimistic about it. Peace and prosperity around the world. If peace and prosperity drive elections, I think Republicans have a fair shot, a good shot, if they message right and they campaign right. of, defying historical trends and winning the midterms.
See, Sean is so smart. You all listen to his radio shows. You watch him on TV, 9 o'clock every night. He's so good. But you know about Sean.
I look better with makeup, don't you think?
I think you're handsome either way. You're a handsome guy. But they don't know this about you. Yeah, you are. But they don't know this about you. Sean is the nicest guy. I'm not going to say what we talked about, but I called Sean a couple of days ago in the middle of the day. The guy gave me an hour. So, just so you folks know out there, he's a big star. He is. As big as it gets in our business. No, you are. But you're a sweet guy. You're a sweet guy. I want people to know that. And the final, 2 minutes, Sean, I have a lot of younger and younger people listening every day. They want to be the next Sean Hannity. What is the key to your success? What is the key to their success?
I work around the clock. Look, I tell young people all the time, find what you love to do and find a way to make money at it. I think back, the best thing that happened in my life is I was 8 years old delivering papers. I was 12 years old working Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, washing dishes by hand in a busy restaurant. Then I became a cook, a waiter, a bartender. Then I spent 10 years in construction. But I listened to talk radio when I was young in New York. Got names that you'll know that maybe some of your listeners won't know. Barry Gray, Barry Farber. Remember John Scheuer, Your Money Man. All of these great pioneers of our industry. And I was obsessed with it. And I used to, when I was doing construction, I'd call in the talk radio shows. I got an opportunity to get on a college radio station. I did my first show. The light went on. My life changed. That's all I wanted to do. I worked for free. I worked for next to no money. My first job paid me $19,000 a year. I never thought I'd be successful, but I loved what I was doing, and I was never going to do anything else. And then TV was never a part of the equation. Opportunities presented itself. I was scared to death, but I jumped. I did it anyway. Find what you love and then find a way to make money at. I think you're underpaid. I don't know what you're paid, but I think you're underpaid.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
And Castamatidis is a billionaire. He should pay you whatever you want.
He's listening. I love that. See, I love Sean Hannity. He's the best. In all seriousness, thank you for your friendship. Thank you.
By the way, I admire him. You know why? He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I admire successful people that work hard. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, I'm now 30 years on Fox, and I work between radio, TV, and my podcast. I now work harder today than I ever did.
I believe it.
I just don't stop working. That's my work week. On weekends, I try to, even on weekends when nobody's looking, I'm still working.
I believe it. And it transcends into huge success. Sean Hannity, I love you. You're a great friend or a monster talent.
Happy anniversary, my brother.
Thank you, Sean. God bless you, too. This was great. There he is, folks, the star over at Fox, whether he's doing one of his 800 radio channels or his great show, weeknights at 9. What a terrific guy, my good friend, Sean Hannity. Well, I want to go to this young lady. She is very close to the president as well. In fact, she's chief of protocol and his ambassador. Every time you see Trump do something big, right, like, for example, the border peace. You remember this really pretty lady in a white dress dropping off all the paperwork to all these leaders? Or you may remember that day at the White House, Zelensky, she walked him in. She's got quite a job. She works right across the street in the Blair House from the president. She has now worked for the president in both administrations. She's a New Yorker, my dear friend Monica Crowley. Monica, thank you for calling in today. It's important you are here. Thank you so much.
Sid, first of all, thank you for that incredible introduction. But most importantly, congratulations on 10 years on WABC. I remember when you came over to WABC, and as the listeners know, I spent many years on the air on this great, great station. It has such a special place in my heart, and it's been completely reinvigorated under the tremendous leadership of John and Margot Katsimatidis, Chad, you, of course, everybody on the air at WABC. So it just means so much more to me to be able to call you my friend over this last decade. You've been so kind to me, putting me on the air in all kinds of iterations. When I had my podcast, and now I'm working with the president and chief protocol. You've just been a tremendous friend. You are an extraordinary talent. And I remember when you came back to New York, Sid, I was like, well, of course, duh. He's the quintessential New Yorker. What was he doing on the air in South Florida? That made no sense. So to have you come back to New York and be on the air here in the 5 boroughs in New Jersey and Connecticut and streaming online around the world, you are the quintessential New York voice. You are energetic. You are fearless. You are brilliant. You are strong and courageous. You tell it like it is. You pull no punches. You represent WABC so well, of course. You represent New York City, New York State, and you represent America so damn well. And I am so proud to call you my friend and a colleague for so many years.
Show is 4 hours and 19 minutes old. Nobody did a better job than you. I got to be honest. That was beautiful. I'm about to start. No, that was so nice. And all of it is true, too. Not the compliments, that's your opinion, but everything else happens to be true, and I appreciate it. And look, Monica, you know this. You're a New Yorker, too. I mean, you spent so much time in D.C. working for the president twice because you're so great at your job. Extraordinary, really. But you know that in New York, there's not a lot of voices like Sid Rosenberg. You got a Democrat governor who's looking to ruin this state. You got a jihad socialist maniacal mayor who is going to ruin this city. You got all these horrible senators like Chuck Schumer, people like AOC. So if Sid Rosenberg is not on in New York, we just surrender. We're getting our ass kicked anyway, let's be honest. But at least we don't surrender as long as I'm on every morning, right?
Well, that's exactly right. This is what makes your voice so invaluable, Sid, and WABC as a presence on the air in the heart of New York City. So invaluable and so important. And, I have to tell you, obviously, I'm still a New Yorker. I'm in D.C., and I'm working for the president, and it's such an honor and a blessing. But I am still a New Yorker. New York City is still my home. And you would be surprised how many of us there are in New York City, the 5 boroughs, but also New York State and the surrounding areas, New Jersey, Connecticut, all the areas that WABC reaches, and of course streaming around the country and around the world. But there are so many who believe in what President Trump is doing and support his agenda, America First, who are strong conservatives. And sometimes we can all feel a bit lonely in a deep blue area like New York. But Sid, you give everybody hope. I mean, you're out there, you're strong, you're a puncher, you're a fighter, and you're so, your voice matches your physical presence.
Oh, God,
right? Like anybody who has ever seen Sid or met Sid, you know what he looks like. This guy is one tough son of a gun, right? And so your physical presence perfectly matches how you are on the air and your opinions and your strength, fighting for New York, fighting for our state, fighting for our country, really fighting for the West. You are the perfect embodiment of all of that, Sid, and we, frankly, in New York would be lost without you.
Monica Crowley, I love you. I can't say enough nice things about you. Thank you for that. In the final 2 minutes, you've traveled the world. Again, Davos, Switzerland, there you are, right at the center of the whole thing. Alaska. It doesn't matter where the president goes, all over the world, you're on that plane with the President of the United States. Now, I know the first time around you worked with the economy, Mnuchin, those types of people, but this time as the chief of protocol, as the ambassador, you go everywhere. Wherever the president goes, there's Monica Crowley. What has that experience been like?
Well, it is a tremendous honor and a tremendous blessing, Sid. And I want to give a shout out to my team. The protocol team is just extraordinary. So talented, so dedicated, so committed, working around the clock. We manage all of the presidents, the vice presidents, and the Secretary of State's foreign engagements. So anytime a world leader comes to see President Trump, my office and I handle the entire visit, including their stay at Blair House, including everything that they might need, and of course what the president needs for successful, robust diplomacy. We handle all of that. So for me to be in the middle, given my educational background, I have a PhD in national security and American foreign policy. I worked with President Nixon during the last years of his life. and traveled around the world with him. So I've had a full arc in my career of meeting with and working with world leaders. So this position, Sid, I mean, God really knows what he's doing. God, if you look back on your life, you realize God puts you exactly where you need to be at exactly the right time, just like bringing you back to New York on WABC 10 years ago. God always has a plan, and I'm just so grateful to be in the middle of making America great again.
And you do it every day. Monica Crowley, you're special. President Trump knows it. I know it. You really are. You're a great friend and an amazing, amazing young lady. Thank you for calling in today. We needed you here today. Would not be an anniversary without Monica Crowley. We love you. You're terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right back at you.
God bless you. Chief of Protocol right there. Oh, nice round of applause for our friend Monica Crowley. Is a boot on the line yet, Justin Alec? What's going on there?
Yeah, Joey's there. Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go to this guy, and we've got Pete Morgan sitting to my right. Of course, Mr. Peerless Boiler is the greatest men's fashion designer ever, and more importantly, one of my dearest, dearest friends for the better part of 27 years. And that is the very handsome Joseph Abboud. Joe Abboud, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Sid, can you hear me?
Yes,
Are
you sound
on?
great.
Am I on?
Yeah, you sound great.
Wonderful. Sid, congratulations on 10 years. Nobody's more proud of you than I am, and you know it. And I saw it early on. I'm going to take a little credit, but from the back in the 90s, I knew you were destined for greatness. But I wanted to do one thing, Sid. On July 3rd, 2021, my last show of Threads, I introduced you, and I just read it again, and I want to read it to you. It's quick. Sid Rosenberg is the quintessential tough guy Renaissance man, knows more about sports than anyone I know, and can wear a velvet jacket, a vest, and a pocket square with the best of them. He is just as comfortable interviewing American presidents as he is talking to Joey Chestnuts. Sid is as tough as nails, but with a heart of gold, and is just as likely to shed a tear with you as he is to punch you in the nose if you get in his way. Sid Rosenberg has a style all of his own, is absolutely the most talented morning talk show in the country by far, #1 in America, a budding movie star, and more importantly, my friend for more than 20 years. Wow. I love you, Sid, and you are just amazing.
Wow. I remember you doing that on air and me getting very, very emotional. Hearing it now, years and years later, it's still beautiful. And just so you know, there's a guy sitting to my right who wears your clothing all the time, too. He'll keep your house warm when it's really cold on days like this, Joe Abboud, and that's your longtime friend as well as mine, the great Pete Morgan. I know how much you love Joseph Abboud.
Oh, he's the best.
I love Pete. I love Pete. And Pete, you sponsored my show, and you know, you always had such vision in sponsoring Sid. And, you know, Sid, one of the things that was really interesting, and when we had our beautiful store on Madison Avenue, Phil, who you remember, was my manager.
Love him.
He never got more interaction than with people who said, I heard you on Sid, and your advertising for us was amazing. So, Pete, you played it right. You're smart. He is the guy to advertise with, and that's a great message to Chad Lopez, who is amazing at what he does. Sid, you really bring people to locations and places that they may not have known before. So you've done an amazing job with that.
I do miss that store. It was beautiful, 48th and Madison. And, I mean, the store was beautiful. The clothes are beautiful. But I miss seeing you. And Phil, I like Phil. Phil was a good guy, you know. But, you know, you were in the city every day, and you did stuff with WABC, which I thought was really, really great. And people ask me all the time, where's Joe Abboud these days? You know, what's he doing? Is he coming back? Because you kind of tease all the time. Well, I'm looking at this. I'm drawing pictures. But, you know, another year goes by. There's still no Joseph Abboud. So I think personally that it's over. I think right now you're very happy playing squash with your friends there in Westchester, whatever you do. I don't know. You play tennis. You travel the world. You're all over the place. I think it's over. But are you going to tell me something different this morning?
No, you know, Sid, remember I always said to you, you don't retire from who you are. Right, you don't. That's you retire from what you do, but not from who you are. You know, I'm always on a creative quest. That's who I am. And you know, the world. You have to remember that what happened with COVID changed the paradigm. I mean, the way men dressed prior to it, as you know, and the way men dressed after it. Now, I did get a picture that you're wearing a beautiful velvet jacket today. You're dressed appropriately for your 10th anniversary. Am I right about that? You're looking very handsome in the picture that Justin just texted.
Well, if you say so, then I must be. And Margot's giving me a round of applause, so it must be. And Angelo Vivolo looks like $1 million giving me a round of applause, so it must be.
Yeah.
I actually was, I tell people all the time, they go, when do you think your career started to take this turn? And, there's a lot of reasons, obviously. John, Margot, Chad, President Trump. But the truth is you. Because I would go to work every day with a pair of shorts and a T-shirt. You remember those days, Pete Morgan, down in Florida?
Yeah.
And if you don't think that matters, people don't tend to take you all that seriously when you show up wearing a pair of shorts and a shirt with my own name on it. And all of a sudden, I'm going to work every day. I got a nice jacket on. I got a nice button-down shirt on. And people go, hey, that guy's got style. See, I look at myself, and I've always said this. I wanted to brand Sid Rosenberg as not just a radio host, but if you listen to all the people that have been on today, all the different things they say, there's a brand there. And it all starts with how you look. You knew that. You taught me that. You once said to me, you can never be overdressed, but you can certainly be underdressed. And you're right.
Yeah. And you've been one of my greatest success stories, right? Making best dressed lists, and I'm so proud of you. But it is important to present yourself well, and as you become the real deal. I think about where you started, when how far back in the pack you started to get where you are. And I know everybody says we're all blowing smoke. I was there early, and I saw the talent, even back in the Imus days, when we had to vote either you or Minko to be the sports guy on the Imus show. And Imus was totally surprised that I actually voted for you.
Yes, you did.
I think he was really surprised. And I think one of my greatest talents is to see talent. And I saw it in the 90s, and I saw it in you, and it just gives me such pleasure to see where this is today. And I'm so proud of you, Sid. And, we talk about our dads. I was not lucky enough for my dad to see my success or to see my children, and I miss him every day. And I only wish he could know, and maybe in some ways I think he does know about my success. But your dad was also blessed to see you come from way back, to have this amazing success, to see your beautiful wife and children, and to know you were on the road. And he could rest in peace knowing his son was a great success. So I know he's looking down today, and he's beaming, and he's proud as hell, and so am I, Sid. I must tell you, I love you. You're a great friend, and we've been through a lot together, and I will be there for you in the future as well.
I know that. Thank you for bringing up our dads. I always bring up the story of you throwing out that first pitch at Fenway Park, and you saying, we made it, Dad. We did it.
Yeah, I said, because we never were able to go to Fenway Park because he was disabled and he loved his Red Sox. And when I threw out that first pitch, and on the Jumbotron behind it, it said, in honor of Joe Abood, that was my dad, a lifelong Red Sox fan. I will never forget that moment. And so that's why I know my dad's seeing my success, and I know your dad is seeing yours. And he's very proud of you, Sid. So I won't keep you because you've got some amazing guests. I can't believe I'm on the same show as President Trump, but I made it. And I just want to thank you for everything you've done as a friend, and you do it with a big heart and kindness. And I love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you so much. Of course you're going to be here. We've been friends for almost 3 decades. You're one of the most sincere and genuine people I know. And I love you to pieces. Joseph Abboud, thank you so much for stopping by today. Thank you.
Congratulations, Sid, on another 10.
Come on. Thank you so much. I love you too. Peter, you've been with me also all these years. And, I tell the story about Peter. I'm down in Florida, and I'm sick of talking about the Dolphins. I'm a Giant fan. I go to my boss. I go, I want to do a Giant report. He goes, fine, do whatever you want. Just get it sponsored. I don't care what you do. I go, who's going to sponsor my Giant report? They haven't sold a boiler in South Florida since 1936. I swear to God. I call Pete. I go, let me ask you something. What are the odds you'll give me $10,000 today to do my Giant report? And he said to me, he goes, I haven't sold a boiler down there in 94 years. Perfect, I'm in. Just like that. That's the type of guy you are. You've been from the WFAN days to the WNEW days to the 1010 Wins days to the WABC days. You saw where I worked down in Florida at 640 Sports. And when I tell you, folks, I'm not making this up. When you talk about how my career has progressed, is it fair to say that that studio, which included my producer, my board op, and me, was the size of from where that flag is to where the blue wall is.
It was literally, you could hug each other at the little table. It was
That's
a
it.
disaster. It was a broom closet.
It was a broom closet.
No windows, nothing. It was a disaster. And you've come all the way through that, all the way back. You've beat your demons. I couldn't be more proud. I mean, listen, we go back a long way. And one thing Maureen always says to me, and she said it this morning, she says, your biggest quality that people seem to really like is your loyalty. And we've been loyal to each other for a long, long time. You've made it bigger than most people thought, but not bigger than we thought.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Harvey and Naomi and Danielle and Ava and Gabe and everybody here, John and Margot, who were unbelievably, smart in retaining you and keeping you and blowing this thing up. Boy, the guy saying blowing things up isn't a good thing, but hey, I'm immensely proud of the way you've bounced back, come all the way back. It's one of the greatest comeback stories in the history of media.
Wow.
And what can I say? Here's to another 25 years.
Oh, thank you, Pete. And we've had some good times together, too. Pete used to take me out to these great liquid lunch days. I used to drink back then.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, we'd go to some steak place in Mahwah, New Jersey. We love it there. And then we'd go to Ranger games. We still do that. We have fun at Ranger games. You take me, and you take me to Giant games and Met games and all that stuff. And it has been a wonderful friendship. And everybody in radio, you know them all. You advertise at a bunch of places. But you've been better to me and now ABC than any other radio station in the city. And we really appreciate that, Peter. We love you. Thank you.
No, I love you, and this place has been great, and I hope there's a long, long ride ahead.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, brother.
That's Pete Morgan from Peerless Spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. Still lots more to do. If you're an Imus fan, you remember Charles McCord is newsman, one of the funniest and greatest radio people ever. He's going to stop by. Charles McCord was the genius behind the whole operation. He wrote everything. He did the news. He played off Imus perfectly, and then he ran like the place was on fire. Never to be seen again, somewhere in the mountains in the Ozarks. And somehow Lou Rapino found him, and he's kind enough to call in this morning. My career, this is one of the most important people. He was always so sweet to me, and a literal radio genius, the great Charles McCord.
Fine. Can we keep this brief, please?
Yes, I know you're busy. What are you doing out there, Ernie? What are you doing this?
I'm very old now. You know that. Hey, any minute I could go, okay? I mean, I've reached the point where they calculate my age by carbon dating, okay? So that's where we are now. So we got to keep this brief.
Okay.
And congratulations on your 10th freaking anniversary. I cannot believe it.
I know you can't believe it. By the way, how old are you?
Are you trying to actually get me to say that I'm 83 years old? Because I say 83 years old. How in the hell did that happen? I cannot possibly be.
Right, but you sound the same.
Yeah, you are.
You sound the same. And if I would have said to you, McCord, and be honest here, okay, because you have a tendency to be a truthful person. If I would have said to you when I was going through all my struggles and doing sports and doing all that crazy stuff on the Imus show that Don wanted me to do. If I would have said, let me tell you something, Charles. You think it's all fun and laughs right now? But in 20 years, I'm going to be that Imus guy in the morning in New York. I'm going to be the guy like I did this morning to interview the President of the United States. I'm going to be the guy to be invited to the State of the Union. I'm going to be the guy that Congress and mayors and governors, they want to be on this show. You would have said what?
I would have said no way. Actually, looking back, Sid, you were always so freaking quick, so agile, so fast on your feet. I'm really not surprised all that much that you've reached the kind of pinnacle that you have. But how are things right now in Midtown Mecca? I mean Manhattan. Has what's that fellow's name? Mahatma Gandhi? Has he visited your program yet?
No. Him and I don't get along well. I say horrible things about him. I know, Mom Donnie. I call him jihad boy and sympathizing terrorist and socialist and communist and all these horrible things. And the president tries to get along with him. You know, Charles, he wants to help save New York. He says nice things about him. I go, Mr. President, trust me, he's a bad guy. So you're not missing anything. You're not missing anything. Wherever you're living, you got it better. Trust me.
I heard Mr. Trump a little while ago on your program. It's very annoying, you know, and when I think about it, because years and years ago, he would invite Imus and myself up to the tower. Every time he rolled out one of these beautiful new developments that he was thinking about, he'd want to show us, and we'd go up there and we'd have lunch in the grill room and everything. And now here I am sitting in Wellington. I'm in Palm Beach County. I'm 15 miles as a crow flies from Mar-a-Lago. He never writes. He never calls. Wow. And I'd say, hey, Mr. President, there are other things out there, you know, than like Greenland, Minneapolis, and Venezuela. I mean, come on, dude. I never hear from you.
Well, the problem is your buddy, the I-Man, he ruined it for you because he spent the last couple of years referring to the greatest president in the history of this country. If you don't agree, just be quiet. The greatest president ever, and I love this man. He referred to him the last couple of years, Charles, your friend Imus, as, quote, blubber titties. You can imagine that Imus wasn't thrilled about that. That didn't work.
No.
Trump,
no.
I should say.
And here's one thing, to be serious for a moment, Sid. People do not know this man. If you look at Donald Trump only through the lens of the legacy media, you are getting sold a horrible bill of goods. This is one of the most generous, though you would never know it because he never admits it, one of the most generous, sweetest, nice guys that I have ever run into. He was so generous and nice to me and my wife, to Connie. I mean, I people don't know this guy. It is so unfortunate that you do not get to see the real DJT because of what we have to deal with. We have to shuffle somehow aside all of the propaganda.
I know.
It infuriates me.
No, me too. That's why what I do is so important, me and the whole station here, John. And, you know, because you're right, 99% of the media, they just lame-base the guy to guy. I mean, how many years, Charles McCord, do you know President Trump? I mean, again, you call him Mr. Trump because you guys were buddies for how many years?
Oh, I don't know. Back to the 70s, for goodness sake. I mean, we were a young man. We were, and it's so funny. We'd be sitting there at lunch, real quickly, Sid. We'd sitting there at lunch, and pretty soon he'd look at his watch, and he'd say, and this is so Trumpian. He would say, "Well, we're not making any money this way. Let's get going." And I'd be sitting there, and I'd say, "Well, wait a minute. What does?"
That is funny.
Oh, he was just tremendous. And your voice is so important, Sid, to cut through everything and to get to the truth about Mr. Trump. It just it's something that I'm very proud of you for doing that. I really am. And by the way, another quick thing. So I'm after October 7th and the horror of that day. And one time I'm looking at my television set, and there is freaking Sid, and he's in Israel. And I'm thinking, oh, my Lord, what are you doing over there, for crying out loud? I said to her, Sid, get home. And then it dawned on me, Sidney Rosenberg could not be more home than to be Jewish in Israel at that point, covering that story. And so I made me even prouder still that I was able to count Sid Rosenberg among my accomplices.
Oh, Charles, that's so sweet. You know, I'm glad you said that because I called Rosanna Scotto. She has this beautiful restaurant, Fresco's, in the city. And I said, I'm going to Israel. She goes, are you nuts? This is 2 months after the war started. She goes, are you nuts? The war was only 2 months old. They were still... And I'm walking through the streets one day in Jerusalem with my beautiful wife, Danielle, and a guy stops me and he goes, thanks for coming. I go, wait a second. You know who I am? I'm in Jerusalem. He goes, I know who you are, and we need more Americans and Jews like you to come because right now we're broken. We are broken. We need you. Yeah. So for all the New Yorkers that were like, I can't go now. I'm too scared. That was the time to go. We did our shows, and John and Margot let us do it. We did our shows literally 3 months. That was it. 3 months after that awful day. And it was a memory I'll never forget.
It was amazing, but I thought, good grief, Rosenberg could not be more home than to be in Israel.
It's true.
Of course he's home.
Yeah, and that was my first trip there ever. I'm home, too, with you on the phone today. You sound like you could still be doing news on any show around the nation. I always really did think, Charles, not to knock the Iron Man, God rest his soul, but I really did think you were the talent behind that program, and I always loved you, Charles. This is a very, very big deal for you to be on this show today. I thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, again, congratulations on your 10th. Congratulations on your appointment by the president, no less, to the Holocaust Memorial Council. I mean, this is Holocaust Memorial Day, unless I'm mistaken.
You are correct.
What a great honor. And now if you say to me, we'll see you back here, Chucker, for our 20th, I can confidently say to you, the hell you will.
We're going to text you anyway, okay? We'll text you. If you can't pick it up, we know you're dead. What else can I tell you? You sound great. God bless you, Charles McCord. You are hilarious. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sydney, I'm so proud to call you my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. There he is, the great Charles McCord. Come on up, Arthur, quickly. I want to get to you before I get to Mark Levin. Come on, quickly, get up here. John is back, and Margot, and the great Angelo Vivolo. Everybody's jealous. Vinny Meduno says, why do you get the convertible on Columbus Day? He said, because I'm the real Italian here. Although you're Italian.
I'm Sicilian. I'm even better.
And
because it's closer to Greece. In other words, it's
know.
as close to Catsimatidis as you could get.
But much like Vinny Meduno, every year Columbus Day, when I'm done my ride in the Columbus in the convertible, there you are standing in the street with the rest of the peasants.
Well, no, that's exactly what you're supposed to do, Sid. We're Sicilians, we're men of the people. Ask Angelo Vivolo. In other words, you're like an elitist. You know, you're a Joseph Abboud guy. I'm a Men's Warehouse guy.
This is
nonsense. I mean, now you look a lot better than I do, but
right.
You're supposed to today. Sid, let me just tell you something why I'm here, because I'm supposed to be in court. I'm supposed to be in federal court. In my soul, I always root for the underdog. Somehow or another, God made me a New York Yankees fan, but because my grandfather was in the Bronx, I still root for the Mets. And Sid, if we're going to be honest, you are an underdog, right? I mean, you hit a lot of speed bumps along the way, and not that long ago, when John Catsimatidis bought the station, I was with you and Bernard. And John Catsimatidis at the time had a brilliant radio show on another brilliant radio station down up the dial a little bit.
Would you be on that station?
And hypothetically, John doesn't like me to talk about it, even though he's my lead-in every night on AM 970 The Answer. So everyone thought John was going to bring that team from 970 here. And you and Bernie were bummed out. You were nervous.
We were nervous.
And Jill,
Yeah.
the three of you.
Yeah.
And I was like, calm down. John doesn't do anything quickly. He goes nice and slow. He
say
takes
that.
his time.
Yes.
He's talking to his buddy Jerry. They're going to figure everything out. And look where you are now. And, dude, you and I are kind of cut from the same cloth. We were not geniuses when we were in high school and college. And somehow in our respective crafts, we've kind of risen to the top. And that's why I really made an effort to be here today, because I just wanted to say congratulations. I'm really, really psyched for you. And the ancillary benefit is I get to see your daughter almost every day, even though she's under the weather today.
She loves you, though. You're doing a great job with Ava. Seriously, she's got an appreciation for the law she did not have just going to law school for 3 years in Wales in the UK. And you allow her, which is very nice, to work on some serious cases.
Well, it didn't take long to realize she's up for the task. I wouldn't let her do it if I didn't believe she was up for the task. And I stand by what I texted you earlier today. Yes, President Trump did an outstanding job, but your son Gabriel's interview, which made you cry, was the best one. And there's nothing you want to hear, right? Then your kids say, Dad, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. And I also love the fact that he contradicted the great Sean Hannity, who is one of the nicest guys off the air, when he said, Florida's boring. Go, Gabriel. I agree with you 100%. I mean, go buy buildings in John's building in St. Petersburg, but go buy more buildings in Coney Island, because New York is where it's at. All you guys down in Florida, enjoy your blue hair and your 4 o'clock dinners.
Yeah.
I'm staying in New York. I'm not going anywhere. It's the greatest city, and people like John and Margot and Vinny, like Mr. Vivolo, and you got guys here from the Sergeant Benevolence Association. Come on, dude. Come on.
You don't got to tell me. I was the only punch. 9 million people are going south, and I'm the idiot going north. I'm the only guy.
What are on
I'm
your
going
feet
north.
exactly?
These are velvet shoes to match my velvet jacket.
That is,
Pretty
and
sharp,
you got
right?
the nice thin socks.
Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate it.
I'm either really well dressed or the gayest guy in the building.
Well, you could be both. You could be both.
I could be
There's
both.
nothing
I
wrong
don't
with
know.
that, Sidney.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. All right, I don't want to take
I
up any more
stole
of
this
your
from Vinny
airtime.
Maduno, this jacket. I love that kid.
Congratulations,
Thank
Sid,
you.
and I'm sure you'll be here another 10 years.
I love you, Arthur.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
God bless everyone.
God bless
Thank you, John and Margot, for making Sid possible.
Thank you. We'll take a short break. Still lots more to do. 2 more hours to go. Don't forget. Mark Levin, the great one. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Sid, I love you, baby. Happy anniversary, and you are a killer. You're a killer, period. Not just on radio, but you're so dynamic and charismatic and smart, and really, you're quintessential New York. You really are quintessential New York, and it's a tremendous honor to come on today of all days and to celebrate your 10-year anniversary. You know, most people don't get past 3 or 4 years on radio. And you've had a fantastic career, and it's going to continue. I'm so honored. People have no idea. We text all the time. 2 tough guys who keep telling each other we love each other. You know, Sid, people better not get a hold of our text. They're going to think something's going on here.
The heart emojis, but it's true because we're both very emotional people, and again, really after October 7th, our relationship, which was good and then it wasn't so good, but it really has reached a new level. And you know, I see you all over the world. We've spoken together in Israel. We'll do it again in April. We spoke together in Las Vegas a couple of months ago at the Republican National Convention. Excuse me, the RNC, RJC. So I see you all over the world. Speaking on behalf of the Jewish people. But what people have to know about Mark Levin is it's not just about the Jews. I mean, you make the point better than anybody that if we're ever going to get to the place in this world where everybody's safe, that means Jews, Christians, everybody, then everybody must align with the Jewish people and Israel. And we're having a very difficult time getting there, Mark. And you talk about that on ABC almost every night.
I do, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, too, about John, who owns WABC. You know, we didn't hit it off right away. Just my personality. I don't hit it off right away with most people. But that said, he's made this possible. You're 10 years now. Me in the evenings. He runs a hell of a radio station. He's actually a very good guy. And let me just say this about what you just said, which is the goal for me is to make sure America survives. And we have an enemy within, the Islamists and the Marxists. You can see the illegal aliens. You can see them all getting together in Minnesota. Last year, or the year before, it was New York's turn. It gets LA's turn. This is all funded. This is all intentional. It's all violent. I'm old enough, you're old enough to remember what took place during the Vietnam War, the riots and so forth. And this is basically the same mindset. And what troubles me is I watch some of these Republicans who are already bailing because they don't know how to fight, because they don't know how to articulate. And if we lose this battle over immigration, if ICE loses, if we can't deport illegal immigrants, particularly very serious criminals, we're going to lose everything. Because this is what I call revolution by immigration. And it is the Democrats opening the door. That was stage one. And now stage two is closing the door to make sure these people aren't deported. And here we are again in Minnesota, which used to be a very quiet state. Minneapolis, St. Paul, mid-sized cities used to be non-controversial, liberal, but okay. Now because of immigration, Somalis, the leftists, and all the rest of it, look what's going on, for God's sakes. I mean, you don't go to a confrontation paid for, backed by communists and socialists, as Fox News has proven, with a gun. This isn't about the Second Amendment. I have a carry permit. You may have a carry permit. That's not what you do. It's like having a car. You have a license for a car, but you don't drive it towards ICE agents and almost hit one.
Right.
So I'm getting very troubled by the narrative that's going on. I'm getting very troubled by all that's taking place, quite frankly. And it's going to be voices like yours and mine and others who I think are going to save the day. But we have to keep at it because this is a battle.
It is, and I heard you last night yelling about Preddy showing up with like more firepower than David Koresh at one of these stops in Minneapolis, and of course he was shot too. But I do see the president here, Mark. I had the same conversation with Hannity a little while ago. I don't think he's got a choice. Look, Renee Good wasn't murdered. She actually, God rest her soul, brought it upon herself. Same thing with this Preddy guy. But at the end of the day, if you're President Trump, you can't have civilians dying in the streets, whether it's their fault or not. You just can't have it. Midterms are a couple of months away.
Well,
so I asked the president flat out today. I said, "Are you ready to compromise?" And he said, "Sid, I spoke to Fry. I spoke to Walls. They're not bad guys. They are bad guys." So if he's saying that means he must be ready to compromise.
Well, look, I have my opinion, and that everybody else has their own opinion. That's perfectly fine. I don't know what we're compromising on. He's trying to get people who have sized 9-year-old boys. He's trying to get people who've beaten their wives. He's trying to get people who've been convicted of murder in Mexico. He's trying to get them off the streets. I haven't seen this much activity when American citizens are murdered, and they're murdered all the time by illegal aliens. I don't see any of that. I don't see this. I know what's going on. And for people who say we can't do this going into midterm elections, well, what are we going to do going into midterm elections? What exactly are we going to do? Because the Republicans can't articulate what's going on and why they're doing what they're doing. And, of course, we have the rhinos who immediately buckle. I wouldn't want them in a foxhole with me. I remember, it was called Bloody Thursday or something like that when Reagan was governor of California. And they took over the Berkeley campus, a park there, and Reagan had sent in the state troopers, and they were attacked. And they weren't doing the job, so he sent in the National Guard. One person died. Others were hit by shotgun pellets. It was very ugly for a period of time, but he said, let's get this over with. I got to put this down. I've got to put an end to this. We can't have our college campuses taken over by these communists. And it was the New Left back then. And the New Left was a communist element. And this isn't the first time. You had Abraham Lincoln had to put down some of these riots. You had George Bush had to put down, H.W. had to put down riots, and Watts. He used the Insurrection Act. I think the biggest problem we have right now is the media, even these so-called independent sites like Drudge and Mediaite. That push these agendas. The biggest problem, even bigger than them, probably is the Democrat Party that's been radicalized with the comments by these politicians that are intended to gaslight these movements. They've embraced these Marxist Islamist movements. They view them as constituents now. They've embraced illegal aliens. They want birthright citizenship. And this is how they seek to pursue power. But look, I don't care if I'm the last voice. Whatever the president says, he says. Whatever somebody else says, they say. I'm looking at it from my perspective and my context, which is this lawlessness, which is organized and heavily funded, cannot be negotiated with. It just can't. That's my view.
Hard to argue that view. I'm with you. I try to talk the president off the ledge, to be honest, because I kept saying, I don't like Mamdani. I don't like Walls. I don't like Fry. All these people that lately he's having nice conversations with. Again, I know what he's trying to accomplish. He's a genius. We know that. But, for me, I'm like you. I hate these people, and they're destroying this country, and it's horrible to watch all this happen. It's just horrible. But somebody said to me last week, they said, here's the thing. We gotta inform people. I said, well, wait a second. Outside of John Catsimatidis and Mark Levin and Sid Rosenberg and Sean Hannity and a choice a few others, how do we do it? I mean, look, I'm like you. I don't care what anybody else says. Even the president. Again, I went back and forth with him this morning about these people. But the question becomes, in this market where so few people rely on us and overwhelmingly the majority relies on this liberal bent media. How do we get the real message out? How?
Well, here's the deal. When you do the right thing, and if you succeed, people like winners, they like success. You know, it's always a storm. It's always tough through the storm, but you got to fight your way through it. The people that we are confronting, they create these environments, they create these scenarios, they create this propaganda. And when you negotiate with it, you're already accepting these premises. And what I'm saying is, hunker down, duke it out for 2 or 3 months. You'll get through it. You will win the day. And then all of a sudden you'll see people who oppose you, particularly Republicans and so forth, talk about how brilliant you are and how strong you were and how you accomplished these different things. I've seen it throughout my life. And so the great leaders are the ones where perhaps public opinion turns against them, the media turn against them, but they muscle through it, they get through it, they accomplish what they need to accomplish, and then the people turn, whether the media is with them or not, and the person is often celebrated for it. Look what Bibi Netanyahu's been through over the last 3 years or so. The attacks. Now he has 57% approval rating in a country that's very divided, and they think that he would win if he runs again. Look at Lincoln. Lincoln was very low in the so-called polls prior to the Battle of Atlanta, which occurred in the summer before the election, and they thought he might lose. He had some battlefield victories, and he won. And so these are the sort of things that happen. But what's at stake here? The country's at stake. If the Democrats are allowed to bring in 20 million illegal aliens, and even half of them are allowed to stay, and if the court rules that birthright citizenship is the Constitution, which is not, and then they have children, and a lot of children, the game is over. It's over. Because they've allowed in people from all over the world, Islamists, communist Chinese, on and on and on. There was no vetting. They had 4 years. They brought in as many millions of people as they could. They violated our immigration laws. They violated the Constitution to ensure that our laws are faithfully executed. That's what it says. They have sanctuary cities, which is a violation of the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause. The sanctuary city is a city mayor or a governor declaring immigration laws don't apply to me. Okay, can I declare that the laws against gun ownership don't apply to me in New York? Of course not. Well, where does this end? And so this is the mentality of the Confederacy. This is the mentality. The Democrat Party is ends justify the means. And if you're going to allow them win on this issue of immigration, then they're going to win. They will get more congressional seats, electoral college seats. They will get more voters, the children of illegal aliens. And it's over. There's nothing we can do about it in a democracy because the democracy has been used to destroy itself.
That is so well said and so true. Scary. I mean, some of my audience members are sitting there going, they're like biting their nails. You know, are we getting close to that? And the truth is we really are. You're right. And that should be a wake-up call to America that we are kind of right there. We're kind of right there. And God help us if that day ever really does come to fruition. This would not be an anniversary special without you. He's right. We do text each other a lot, you know, and I lean on him when I'm sad, something with Israel, something with America, something with Iran. He has me on his show all the time on his amazingly popular radio show. He's been so good to me on this show. Just one of the great people God ever created. The great one himself, my dear friend Mark Levin. Thank you for being here today. Another amazing appearance.
I am so proud of you. 10 years as you are in the New York market, that's not easy. And in the morning, that's even tougher. God bless you, my friend. And you really are a great friend. God bless you.
God bless you, too. I love you, Mark. Thank you. Mark Levin right there. That's amazing stuff. 6 to 8 every weeknight, getting a nice round of applause here on 77 WABC. So Trump already getting us a lot of press, John, a lot of press. We've got a whole bunch of great people. John and Margot. John will be back for Bill O'Reilly, Chad Lopez, Bo Dietl, Peter King, Lara Trump, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Charles McCord, Joseph Abboud, Bruce Blakeman, Rabbi Joe Potasek. They've all been part of the show today. I've got two very special gentlemen sitting to my right. One is Angelo Vivolo, and he, I know that Audie Idala made a joke earlier, so did Vinny Medugno, that Sid Rosenberg, very Jewish, gets treated better than most Italians on Columbus Day. Angelo is the man who runs that parade. It's a magnificent event. It was so sad this year we got rained out. But most years, I'm in a convertible Cadillac going right down till I get to Joe Piscopo and the guys over on Channel 7 because of you. So great to see you, Angelo.
It's a privilege to be here on your 10th anniversary. I can't tell you how honored I am to be here with you. And congratulations.
Thank you. And another great Italian, this guy, and I, people give me credit. I tell you this, Vince Valalang, this is true. He's the president of the SBA. A guy rolled down his window in Rockaway a couple of weeks ago. I'm on the way to the gym. Rolls down his window and he goes, "Sid, thank you. I told you this." I said, "For what?" He goes, "We got a new contract." That wasn't me. That was Vince Valalang, who is so good to his people, does a tremendous job. And the sergeants are happy now. That's the good news. And you've been great to me, too. Good to see you, pal.
I wouldn't have missed this at all. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. So let's start with you, Vince. When Mamdani was running, you were very outspoken about the horror. I haven't changed my mind. I know Trump told me this morning he's a nice guy. He's not a nice guy, okay? He's not. I love President Trump. I disagree on that one. You were not very kind to Mamdani in some of your editorials, some of your pieces. Of course, you're worried about the police department. Everybody knows about the dinner I had with Jessica Tisch last week. She got killed for that. I got killed for that. It's really unfortunate, but where do you stand now with the mayor and the city?
Well, I think I've said it in the past. We're going to wait for him to make the first move. I'm not going to criticize something that he hasn't done yet, but he's going to do it. I can't see them not. The ideology that they have, his whole team that he's put together, they're not hiding anything. And my concern is the men and women of the New York City Police Department, going out every single day, and my kids, because that's the most important thing to me. All right?
Of course.
And you let the rule of law get out of hand, this city will go down the tubes, and that's not a place that I am willing to cede.
So you don't sound like you've gained any more confidence since he's taken office the last month or so.
No one's given me any reason to have any confidence at this point in time.
Couldn't agree more. Now, for you, Angelo, you do realize that there was a time when Mamdani walked past a Christopher Columbus statue and gave Christopher the finger. And I don't care. Listen, my kid goes to school in New York City. He's home because of Indigenous People Day. My kid's Jewish. He goes, "No, I'm home because of Christopher Columbus." Okay, thank you very much.
God bless you, son.
Yeah, thank you. But he did do that. He gave the statue the finger. So, he's not great to the cops and he's not great to the Italians either.
Well, I'm in your camp, honestly. However, listening to the president today, I root for New York City, and I hope he does good for New York City. I have my doubts, but as my friend Vinny said, we have to see what happens. But I'm 100% in your camp, and I've been saying it for way before he was elected as the mayor of New York City. So we'll see, but unfortunately, I have my doubts. But I'm a New Yorker at heart, and I'm rooting for New York. But I want to thank you for being so supportive of the Italian American community. Every Columbus Day, you allow me to come on and to talk about Columbus and promote it. And you are an honorary Italian American. Sorry, Vinny, but and we love Vinny. He's a terrific guy.
He's great.
And Arthur Idala, just two great Italian Americans. However, thanks to Margot and to John, who also last year they were actually honorees. But every year they support Columbus Day by having the Columbus Parade broadcast for 3 hours on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. No one's ever done that. I tell them, no one in the past. I've been a member of the Columbus Club for quite a long time, past president, chairman of the board, and so forth. But no one has done as much for the Italian American community as the two of them. Although John does say he's 28% Italian.
He does. Well, it's funny with John. No matter what day we've got, he finds a percentage. Israeli Day goes, I think I'm 6% Jewish. On MLK Day, he goes, I think I'm 3% black. I don't know. He finds a way to get some percentage in there. He's a genius.
God bless him.
Yeah. And he's out there on the cart with Margot on Columbus Day, and Sapracone's out there as well.
Yes, Mike Sapracone.
And you do put me in that. And I got to tell you, I spent my whole life, I was so mad at my parents. I was so mad. I go, how? I grew up in the 1970s, okay? John Travolta was Tony Manero. He got all the pretty girls. He was Italian, Attica. I'm like, what have you done to me? I'm Jewish. Sidney Ferris, Rosenberg, and I went to Poly Prep. The Italian kids were driving Jaguars, owned Italian restaurants on the West Side Highway. They were 16 years old. But I tell you, after October 7th, I became this crazy, strong Jew. And I love the Italian people, and I spent most of my life wanting to be Italian. But it took that day for me to go back and appreciate my heritage. But I'm the first to admit the Italian people, what they've done for this city, this state, and this country, unparalleled.
If I can comment, after this, a little bit later today, I'm going up to the Italian consulate because today's a very special day, and we're going to announce all the names of the Jewish Italians and who died during World War II. So
today is Holocaust Remembrance Day.
That's what we do every year. The same day, we go up there, and there's a list of names, and many of us will mention the names, talk about it. And so it's a great day. So that's where I'm going from here. But God bless you because, all you do for not only Italian Americans, but about anti-Semitism, which is incredible. We are totally against, and we support you, and God bless you. And
thank you.
At least another 10 years.
Well, I hope so. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Angelo. And you guys, Vin, the job became a lot tougher a couple of years ago. You went from fighting crime. Now you got to worry about these rallies where these people take over the city. They've got a bunch of different causes now. It's not just pro-Hamas. There's a bunch of different causes. You got the real threat that maybe one day there will be a terrorist attack in New York. It just seems like, right now Jessica Tisch is doing a tremendous job. The numbers are down dramatically, which is great news for you, Vin, and your force. But it just seems like there's something brewing all the time behind us that we can't see. And I would think stuff like that keeps you up at night.
You know what people really don't look at is the fact that all of these people that they're just letting into this country unvetted, what jobs are they getting? Are they getting jobs in the airports? Are they getting jobs in secure areas where they can get their hands on guns? We had 9/11 because someone infiltrated us. Right now, we don't know how badly we've been infiltrated in this country, and that's scary. That's scary for every traveler, everybody that gets on a plane. And you really need to put your politics aside and look yourself in the mirror and say, am I an American or am I something else?
Fair question. So right now you've got, you're probably about 3,000 or 4,000 down in terms of total cops, right? That's about the number you are. And you guys do a great job with the number that you've got right now. What does it look like moving forward? Have you seen anything, read anything that talks about future NYPD?
The commissioner has made it a point to hire as many people as she possibly can.
And he's not stopping her?
Not from my understanding.
Okay.
That question would have to be to her. But I can tell you that every time we have promotions every single month, but we're losing just too many people. There's got to be an incentive to keep them here. There's got to be an incentive to keep the experienced guys here to teach the young kids. I mean, I got a young kid on, and I'm on the phone with him every single night talking to him about what's right and what's wrong. Go inside a store. Talk to the person. Don't listen to the guy who sits out there and really doesn't want to do the job anymore. Go out and make friends with the community. That's what you're there for. And we need to start teaching that to our younger cops.
I agree. We've got some young cops, but not many. Most of them are older now and pretty much leaving the force. Okay, so you're going to the Holocaust Remembrance Council meeting.
At the consulate on East 69th Street,
okay,
Park Avenue.
And I would imagine that because we got rained out last year, that great Columbus Day Parade, that this year coming up, this is going to be quite an extravaganza.
Yeah, we might not give you a convertible if it rains again. I don't know. We'll see. But I just want to say, Vinny here, not only is he a sergeant and president of the sergeant's organization, his son's a police officer, and his father was a police officer. So there's a great tradition, Italian-American, giving back to our country, giving back to our great city.
He's one of my favorite guys. There's no question about it. He's great at his job. He's stern, but he's actually a very nice guy, very sweet guy. You are a softie. See that smile? He's got dimples, too. He's got dimples, this guy, Vinny.
So earlier on today, you had a rabbi on. He made a statement about never forget.
Right.
And he said, was it a question mark or is it an exclamation point? So you want my answer as to how it is I feel? I brought this here for you today. All right. This is the SBA's 25th anniversary coin for 9/11. On the card itself this year, we have one of our sergeants, Vincent Kelly, who was very nice to allow us to use his image. And it is of Ground Zero, 25 years ago. And we framed it. And myself and my membership, we adore you a lot. And so just came here to present it to you today.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Thank you. I've had a lot of conversations about Imus today and Bernie, and Bernie's wife is going to join me at 12:15. And I still remember that morning so vividly when that first plane hit. I play the audio every year. I was talking to Imus about a football game the night before the Giants. I played the Broncos on Monday Night Football. In fact, the Giant coach, Jim Bossel, he died 2 years ago, used to tell me that his plane landed from Colorado early that Tuesday morning when United Flight 11 was taxiing out to the runway. And that plane, of course, was crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. But I knew people who died in those buildings that day. We all have, okay? And I'm a little sad that Mamdani's the mayor, in that next year is going to be 25 years as that beautiful piece is. And he's not Rudy Giuliani, I'm sorry. And that makes me a little sad. But people like you that have continued to fight all these years, that put their lives on the line for this city, for this state, and are still dying, unfortunately. Still, that was not a one-day event. 9/11 was not a one-day event. We can't thank you enough. We love you in this city and this state. And don't listen to all the noise from the idiots out there that say bad things about the cops, and they don't speak for the majority. The majority of us, you use the word adore, we adore you. So that is a very nice piece. I don't deserve it. You do, because at the end of the day, you're the one keeping us safe. And thank you so much for thinking of me, but you deserve that piece more than I do.
You guys allow us to do the job that we love the most.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you, guys.
God
That's
bless
really
you.
very sweet. Thank you. Angelo Vivolo and Vincent Valalan, two beautiful men. And that'll go in a very, very nice place in my house, I promise you. Thank you. My son Gabe is here. I'll probably take it back inside the studio. We're going to take a short break. Still more to do. John will rejoin us up on stage. Bill O'Reilly's going to stop by. You're feeling pretty good. That's good. And, are you back on yet? Are you doing all of your jobs right now?
We're on. We kicked a lot of serious butt last night on the No Spin News, my broadcast, and then News Nation at 9 o'clock with this Minneapolis craziness, because the story is not being reported accurately. What a shock, right? And it's an insurrection there. And President Trump is correct in trying to bring down the temperatures, but the FBI has got to go in there, and laws have to be enforced. Enough, okay? And then we trace money paid to agitators to go to Minneapolis from Shanghai, China, and we name the man who's doing it, and the FBI has been investigating this guy. I got a note from the FBI this morning that they're on it, and they've issued subpoenas and all this. But this is a very, very important story, because it's not what it appears to be. And I want the FBI and Kash Patel to go out there and to talk directly to the American people about what they are investigating. And that is everything. All right. I'm not some person that says if a law enforcement agent kills a person that the law enforcement agent is fine no matter what. I don't do that. But I want a fact-based investigation, because that's how big this story is.
No, that's fair. And look, when President Trump comes on, like he did a few hours ago, and you were very kind to text me and said it was great, a lot of good information in there, and he said,
It was.
Thank you. And I knew he spoke to Tim Walz, but I had no idea he spoke to Fry too. That was that was new news. And he does the same thing with Mamdani. He says nice thing, the nice guys, great conversation, blah, blah, blah. But I think you just nailed it. I talked about this all morning long. Lower the temperature. I don't think that President Trump thinks that those agitators were doing the right thing, and I don't think he thinks his ICE agents were doing the wrong thing. But at this point, it becomes a battle that he just can't win, right, Bill?
Well, I don't know if it's about winning. What it's about is controlling anarchy. And as soon as Donald Trump does something like, well, listen, I want to have a discussion so we don't have any more dead people, which everybody should say, thank you, Mr. President. We don't want any more dead people. So we're happy that you're discussing this situation with the mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota. No, not what CNN does or Disney or any of these people. No, Trump's surrendering. Trump's weak. Trump lost, to exacerbate a situation. So we got more dead bodies. Yeah, it's good for the left to have dead bodies, right? More dead bodies, the better ratings for CNN. Oh, it's a dead body. Hey, yeah, it's Trump's fault. And then when Trump says, geez, I try to, let's get this under control so we don't have any more violence, he's surrendering. Come on, enough with these people. Enough with them. They're disgraceful. And every American, I don't care whether you're liberal or conservative or a libertarian, whatever you want to be, if you're counting, if you support this kind of conduct, you're a bad person, period.
It really is that simple. John, what are your thoughts? John Catsimatidis, Bill, of course, comes your way, 5 p.m. Katz and Cosby, 8 a.m. every Sunday morning. Katz Roundtable joined us earlier, his radio station. Well, what are your thoughts on what's going on in Minneapolis? And do you think that the president is doing the right thing?
Well, Bill O'Reilly was on our 5 o'clock show yesterday, and he was terrific. He was great. And some of these people, the famous names, and I'm not going to mention them necessarily, the Chinese name and the other Jewish name in New York, I don't think they're spending their own money. I think they're conduits for foreign money coming in. Because, look, they're smart people on their own. And the American people have to realize that America is under attack. We found out that America is under attack through our borders. And I don't understand why the Democratic Party is objecting to us sinking the boats full of heroin and cocaine coming to America. As Trump said, that one of those boats could kill 10,000 Americans or 20,000 Americans. Why is the Democratic Party objecting? Are the contributions that high? I mean, we got to realize, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're an independent, but America comes first. American citizens come first. And the American people have to realize it. And do we want immigration? Yes, we want immigration. But we don't want the invasion. And that's what went wrong in Europe. Europe is in deep doo-doo. Right now, they are trying to have war against America in different ways. Just a breaking news a few minutes ago, the European Union met with India to talk together about polarizing the U.S. dollar. In other words, you know why? Breaking news. You know why gold is $5,000, and you know why silver is $109? Because India, China, and some Europeans are selling U.S. bonds and buying gold. So we are under attack in so many ways. And guys, the American people have to stop tiptoeing through the tulips.
Yeah.
And realize that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
And thank you, Bill O'Reilly, for everything you do, because our mission is to make sure our kids and grandkids have a country to be proud of.
And Bill is, I think, at the forefront of that, John. I agree with you. I don't think there's anybody who explains what's going on better, who's fair and balanced. I know Fox News calls themselves fair and balanced. That's Bill O'Reilly. But, Billy mentioned Europe, and they've really become a thorn here. Last week, for example, at the Board of Peace, there was not one European ally that signed up with President Trump. They're angry with him. You know that. All of them, maybe even more angry than Canada. What do you think the future is, relationship, in the near future at least, between the United States and Europe?
Well, under the Trump administration, it's never going to be good because the president doesn't really respect the EU and objects to the fact that we, the American taxpayer, have funneled over about $30 trillion to help Europe since World War II ended. And what did we get back for our money? What?
Nothing.
You bet. And so now, and this is the way the president sees it, we need to have some military bases up in Greenland to monitor Chinese and Russian activity, including nuclear submarines coming out of the Arctic ports. And we get all kinds of heat for that. Now, I would have presented it a little bit differently than President Trump did.
Right.
Okay. You know, what I told him on the phone was, Mr. President, with all due respect, if you invade Greenland, I'm going to have to fight on the side of Denmark. I don't want to really eat herring every day and wear the dopey hat. Okay,
Right.
with the little horns, the Viking hat. I don't want to have to do that.
I'm
So
with
you'll get your deal. You don't have to threaten to invade them. And of course, he got the deal. Of course, he did. Okay, but the Europeans don't want any of that. All right, as somebody told me, very close to President Trump, who's the hardest working human being. I mean, you work hard, Rosenberg, and I work hard. And Katzimatidis, I don't know how he does it, but we all work.
And I'm
hard.
older than you, besides.
Right, that's right.
And yeah, and I got an image here. I have to, but anyway, Trump, the guy who's close to Trump goes, he gets furious when a guy like Macron shows up looking like one of the Bee Gees with the tinted glasses. I thought he was going to break out into night fever.
Yeah,
I thought, Macron, well, it must be the night fever. We know how to do it. I mean, this is a guy, there's Putin massacring women and children, and he's negotiating with one of the Bee Gees.
I know.
Come on.
I know.
What is, you gotta be kind of tough here, a little bit tough.
Yeah.
Not Europe.
It looks silly. There's no doubt about it. I saw one meme where he took the glasses off Macron, put it on himself, and gave the finger to the French leader. But look, it is, I think you're right. I think as long as Trump is in power, that's never going to be a good relationship. And why? Because he has held Europe accountable, right? He's not paying their bills anymore. Everybody else is okay paying their bills. We don't want to pay your bills anymore.
And he's holding Canada responsible.
Yes, Canada too.
Canada is not appreciative that we're going to have the global, rocket controls.
Yeah.
And we're protecting them.
Of course.
But they're not appreciative of that.
Europe either. I mean, you know this, Bill. A lot of the reason why Europe, and you're right about Canada, John, Europe is doing all this is because they're kowtowing to China. China.
Well, they understand, both Canada and Europe, that the United States not going to let China intrude on the world. And a very big thing is coming up in April when Trump will meet with Xi. Okay, and I'm in the middle of that. You guys know I went to Beijing, talked to the Politburo over there in May at their invitation, not for the president. And see, they know the United States, when it comes right down to it, isn't going to let them go under. So they're arrogant. They're like little spoiled kids. You little spoiled kid going, I want that, yeah. You want to whack them, but if you do that, you'll be arrested now. Yeah. My father would be doing life imprisonment, Rosenberg. I don't know about yours, but if he were a parent today, he'd be in for life.
No, I know. It's just terrible
crazy.
what's happened. I know. Well, Bill, before I let you go, and again, you and I was talking about Levin, you and I text each other all the time, too. We become very close, and you're close to my wife, Danielle, too. My son, Gabriel, loves you. My daughter, Ava, loves you. You become a family member, and there's been nobody more successful than you in the history. I know Hannity was on. He's had great success, Mark Levin, but you're the king. Let's be honest, Bill O'Reilly, you're the king. How do you feel about all of this moving forward. I mean, thank God for WABC, for John, for Margot, for us. Really outside of us and some of the talent, not all of it anymore, on Fox News, some of these other right-wing places that nobody really pays attention to. There's not a lot of us out there anymore, Bill, and there's not a lot of common sense people like you. So what does the future look like to you?
The future is, for the United States, hinges on the individual American citizen. And stories like yours, Rosenberg, Brooklyn, mine, O'Reilly, Levittown, honest, tough guys, right? Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Honest, tough guys. And we both have risen to the top of our professions. That gives me hope, because the only way we do that is because of the folks. They made it possible. Now, we were born with talent, and you were born with a skin pigmentation that no one can quite define, okay? But it's the folks. And there are enough Americans now that admire straight talk, people who are authentic. That's what Breen said earlier in your broadcast, who are not trying to grift them or have not sold out for the money. So tell me what to say and I'll say it. Americans can separate now. That's why you are number one. And not only in New York City, but in a country, because WABC is the most dominant AM talker in the world. And Rosenberg is number one in Morning Drive, which is the most important part of the radio day. If you step back and you look, and what I've done, okay? But what you've done is extraordinary, and people should recognize it.
Oh, my God, Bill. Coming from you, that's a lot of high praise. You know, I say this to you all the time, and not to patronize you. You are the best ever. And getting to know you personally, you know, be a tough Irish, all that stuff. You're one of the nicest and most generous and just a wonderful, wonderful person. I know, John, I know how much you love Bill O'Reilly too, right? I mean,
We
they don't come better.
got a tough Irish guy, we got a tough Jew, and a tough Greek.
How about that? That's pretty good right there. That's
not bad.
That's a formidable lineup. And Rosenberg, I just want you to do me one favor here. Sure. Stop ruining my reputation by telling people what a nice guy I am. You know how hard I've worked, all right, to be this menace, to be this, all right? I mean, come on.
That's true, but I think it's over.
He's really a nice guy.
You are. You're like when Trump calls Mamdani a nice guy, you know he doesn't really mean it. But when I call Bill O'Reilly a nice guy, I mean it. This guy's a heck of a guy.
You know what we said? Trump created the art of the deal.
Right.
And Mamdani created the art of the con.
It's true. You're right. Bill O'Reilly, you were amazing as always today. We love you so much. You are the best ever. And I had a lot of big-time people on this show today, but Bill O'Reilly, you're the best ever. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Sid. You deserve every bit of it.
Thank you, Bill.
I got to say, though, Bernie and Sid, we sound like a gay Jewish couple.
We do a little bit. One of those like Muppet things. Those two like old Muppet guys in the movie theater on the very, very top. That's kind of us too.
We are kind of married at this point.
We are.
But it's a good thing.
Yeah, you look good.
No conjugal relationship here, though.
Not yet.
Let me reassure the audience of that.
Right.
But not that would be a bad thing.
No.
It's a beautiful thing.
And you would get the much better of the deal at this point.
We started the show talking about Bernie. He was mentioned quite a bit on the program. And that audio you just heard was from our very first day together, all the way back. 10 years ago today, January 27th, 2016. You know, when I worked with Bernie on the Imus show, we got along so great. We had that charity boxing match. You guys remember he kicked my ass. But we had a great time together, and I wrote a book in Florida in 2010. Nobody read it. It's called You're Wrong and You're Ugly. And in the book, I had all my friends write chapters. In the book, they wrote chapters. Pat Riley wrote a chapter, Tiki Barber, Howard Stern's guys, Gary Dell'Abate, Jim Nance, all these famous people. And Bernard wrote in the book, and this is 2010, he said, one day I think Sid and I would make a great team. And wouldn't you know it, 6 years later, we were a team. And then he got sick, and we lost him. But I couldn't do this show today, and President Trump was on. He was great, and Sean Hannity, and Mark Levin, and Bill O'Reilly, and John Catsimatidis, and Peter King, and Bo Dietl, and Charles McCord. You heard from Mike Breen and Megyn Kelly, all these great people. I couldn't do this show today without talking to Bernie's wife, who I love to this day, and he loved. So let's welcome in the great Carol McGurk. Carol, good morning, or good afternoon, I should say. How are you?
Hello, Sid. Congratulations for 10 years. You know, I heard you saying I would be nervous. I wasn't so nervous until you played that, and I heard Bernard's voice, Imus's voice. I love you, Sid. I'm so happy for you. I miss Dee. I have a surprise guest here with me. I have Brendan. And my grandson, Owie.
Oh, little Owie.
You want to say hi?
Congratulations, Sid.
Hey, Brendan. And Brendan, for you folks that don't know, he's now made Bernard a grandfather twice. So somewhere in heaven, Bernie is enjoying 2 grandchildren. Thanks to you, Brendan. He loved you. I remember one time he showed me a video of you 2 guys playing basketball. And you were killing him, by the way. But he claimed he won. I don't know. I wasn't there. But he loved you. And I'm happy for you and your beautiful wife and your 2 new children. It's really lovely. And he's a grandfather. He's not here, but he knows it. So congratulations to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sid. Yep, life is good. And,
Yep, the kids are beautiful, healthy. Colin's going to be 3 years old next month. Owie's 8 months old. So precious. And, Sid, you have a great show. I heard some of my favorites, Bo and Peter King, and what a great interview with President Trump. What a long interview. God bless him. And
yeah.
I heard Gabe on the phone. I guess you can't say Gaby anymore since he's 17 years old.
You know, it's funny you say that, Carol. I still call him Gaby, even though I'm looking at him right now. He's still sitting here. He's 17. He's there. Yeah, he's there. He's going to be a senior in high school, and I'm already starting to freak out like he's going to college. His sister was one thing. Ava was 5. She was going on 30. You know, girls are different. He's like my little boy. We watch games together. You know, I don't know how I'm going to send this kid off to school, but I still call him Gaby. But, you know, you talk about Trump, and I go back to 2016, and your husband loved President Trump, and Trump loved your husband. And I didn't. You know, I've known President Trump as long as Bernard did. He would come on my show and talk sports. I went to fights in Vegas when Mike Tyson fought, sat next to President Trump. But I never thought he could run the country. I'm like, come on, he's a TV guy. He's funny. He's good looking. And your husband was right, and I was wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job.
He's doing a great job. Yeah. So what was the first thing? You know, I came back to New York. We started working together, Bernie and I. And that was the first segment we just played for you right there. That was the very beginning of our midday show together, Carol. And I knew that, you know, all those years on Imus, your husband, thank God he made a good living. He was a real superstar. He really was. But it was never his. It was Don's, you know, and he was really excited to be part of something that was his, Bernie and Sid. He loved that, didn't he?
Yeah, Bernie and Sid. Yeah, I miss him every day, and you have to forgive me. I have my eye on Owie also.
That's okay.
He's crawling around. Yeah, I'm just I'm pretty emotional right now, Sid. But I'm so happy for you guys, and I'm sorry that I missed Charles McCord. Charles McCord was on.
Charles was on from somewhere in the Ozarks, some mountain somewhere, and he said nice things about Bernard too, and Bernie and Charles, of course.
Of course. And Mike Breen, was he on yet? Or he was?
He was. He left a very, very nice message, and I even mentioned, I think I'm right, wasn't it your husband that introduced Mike to his wife?
I
think so.
I think so. I can't remember exactly, but. Yeah, I owe Mike Breen a phone call also. I haven't spoken to him in a while.
Well, you're busy. You're in Florida. By the way, you're living a great life. You're in Florida all the time. You got these grandkids all over the house.
Not all the time, but I get there, 2 or 3 times a year, which is great.
And you're down by Disney, right, in that part of Florida.
I don't have a place. My mother has a place in Newport Richey, but
very nice.
that was hit by a hurricane, almost 2 years ago. So I've been busy fixing that up, and I'll probably wind up selling that because if I get something in Florida, I think I'd like to be closer to Disney or, on that coast because I have friends in Jupiter, Hunter's Run, and, I love, that's my happy place.
It is. I mean, are you still happy? You live in the same house where Bernie lived, obviously, but are you still happy in Nassau County? You still like it there?
Yeah, because I'm close to Brendan. I have
Right.
Brendan and the boys. They're in Bethpage.
They're close.
I babysit every Monday and Tuesday, and I usually sleep over their house Monday nights.
Aw.
But yesterday was a snow day, so I came this morning, and I was able to listen to you guys, on the radio. So
That's
the
great.
clips here and there, I caught some stuff.
That's great. And your daughter's doing great. Mel just got engaged, right?
Mel got engaged. She's going to get married in October. She just said yes to her dress. I just called and planned her bridal shower. So, yeah, it's all good things there. And I love her fiancé, Michael. Michael is awesome.
That's great.
He's a good guy. Bernard would absolutely love him.
He would love him. Yeah, she's a great kid, your daughter. What a great kid. Smart and
Thank you.
beautiful.
Yeah, she's busy. She would have loved to have, we would have loved to come in, but it was just impossible. I mean, Brendan has his office. He works out of his house, and he has a deadline, but at least he's here so he can spend a couple of minutes. Melanie is busy at work at the Queens County Courthouse. She's probably in court right now, but she sends her love as well.
Does she work with Melinda Katz? Do you know the DA?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'll have to ask her.
Well, Margot Katzimatidis is sitting right here, and of course, her and John bought the place, and me and Bernie were nervous. We're like, oh God, what's going to happen? Are they going to keep us? Do they like us? And Bernie ended up loving working for those two. They did a great job, and when he passed away, they really went out of their way to right.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes, they did so much. St. Patrick's Cathedral, that memorial for Bernard was incredible. Yeah, they've done so much. Hello, Margot. Margot's there.
Yeah, she's waving hello to you right now, Margot. She's saying hello back to you. Yeah, no, they did a great job.
Hello to Lou, and I spoke to Justin, and hi to everybody. And how is your wife?
She's great. No, Danielle's great. She's listening right now somewhere in Queens. And like you said, Gaby's here. My daughter Ava is home. So thank God, everybody. Thank God everybody's good. And I'm really happy that your family is great, too.
Ava.
Huh?
Ava, you graduated. Congratulations, right? She graduated college last year.
Yeah, she did. She finished her 3 years in the United Kingdom, and she's home now. She's actually interning for Arthur Aidala. She's doing very well.
Oh, very good. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
She's doing great. Well, listen, I wanted to catch up with you because you know that he's gone but not forgotten. Not for me. I mean, I must mention Bernie 4 times a week. He was a magnificent man. He was brilliant. He was funny. And he was a great friend. I mean, we had so many, forget about on air. I mean, the off-air conversations, because it was a tough time. We had COVID, and then he got sick, and, I had my own issues. And we would have these really, really lengthy, emotional conversations, and he was the perfect guy to talk to. And so I miss him, but I love you, and I'm glad things are great for you and your family, and we're always in touch with each other. So thank you for calling in today.
Yeah, thank you. You're very, very welcome, and congratulations. And, I don't know whether you heard a little bit of Owie, but I guess he made his little debut.
Yes.
Owie.
There he goes, like his grandfather. Carol, you be well. I love you.
Your partner in 20 years, if you're still there.
I'll still be here. It'll be the Sid and Owie and Sid show, just like his grandfather. Thank you, Carol.
Bye, Brent.
Take care.
Congratulations, Sid. Thanks for carrying the torch.
You got it, pal. Thank you. Your father was a great man, and so are you. Thank you, McGurks. We love you. Thank you so much.
Love you, Sid.
I love you, too. That is Carol McGurk right there. And somebody dropped this off to me today. I guess it was Pete Morgan. It was in the Daily News. Wow. And it was from Sunday, September the 15th, 2019. So we're going on 7 years. 77 WABC and Peerless Boilers present Bernie and Sid's Night of Comedy, Thursday, September the 26th at the Hard Rock. Jackie the Joke Man, Martling, Rob Magnotti, Dave Landau. This was there's a picture of Bernie and I. This was a pretty good event. We did these a couple of times. I believe this is before you, Margot. This was one of the few things our Cumulus got right. I don't know. But this was a great night and one of the many things that Bernie and I did together in our 25 years together. So we're going to take a short break. We're not done just yet. I've got this young girl here. She made a debut on Sid and Friends in the Morning last week. Her parents escaped Iran during the revolution. She lives in Great Neck, but her parents are, of course, very outspoken. And she is an international singing superstar. She sings in Israel. She sings in the United States. Michael and Donna Sullivan, two dear friends, and another good buddy of mine who I believe is the real estate queen here in New York. Oh, Suzanne does a great job too, and that is Eleanor Strugo. Comes off a very successful stint on a Netflix show, and you're with Douglas Elliman, right?
I'm at Douglas, and how do we know each other, Sid?
I know you through the mayor, I think.
Ex-mayor.
Ex-mayor. We actually met one night. We were handing out food to the homeless.
Yes.
That was a good job. That was a good job.
And then we went to Wolfgang's.
We went to Wolfgang's, me, you, and Mayor Eric Adams.
Yes.
You still talk to the mayor?
I do.
You do? He's doing okay?
He actually just landed back in New York.
Where was he? Are you allowed to say? You can't say.
No, I think he was.
Nobody lands back in New York more than Eric Adams. Even when he was
true.
mayor,
That
he was
is
never in New York.
good point. I think Dubai. I don't know. Honestly, I can't keep track anymore.
Probably some Middle Eastern country. Tom and Renee here. Manhattan University is well represented today. Tom's a great guy. What a terrific guy. Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate that. And Sully, you and I are friends forever. And I know, Carol was just on just now, and you listen outside your beautiful home there by the beach. It's lovely. And you were nervous when Bernie died, too. You're like, I don't know. You and Bernie were really, really good together. And I said, I know we were, but I think I can do this. And you and like a lot of other people were very, very nervous, and you should be because Bernie was such a great and talented guy. But I think you'd even admit now that the show has found a way to survive.
Oh, without a doubt. And I just want to say that we came up today to represent the Sullivan family, and thank you for all you've done for my family, my brother running for office, my older brother Russ calling from, by the way, I'll give you up. He lives in Maryland.
It is Maryland.
Yeah.
I get confused between Maryland and Virginia. He sends me the nicest text, Russell.
Russ loves you. He's a big fan. He knows how you started. He knows where you came from. And none of us can get over it, just knowing growing up with you. And it's just an incredible ride. You're a beautiful family. You're living by me now, and we just can't thank you enough. And especially Mr. and Mrs. Catsimatidis for putting on a great show for all of us. I mean, the Hurricane Sandy, COVID, you just kept us all going.
Thank you. And you get up, you're up before 6 o'clock in the morning. Make sure you're listening every day.
I'm married and I got one eye open. So I'm up.
That's not Donna. Right, Donna? That's not you, sweetheart. Come on. Come on now.
And when you were having it, Donna said, hey, I got to cater some food for them. I said, Donna, they work for the Gristini family. I'm sure they're going to cater food. We got to do something for Sid. And that's why Donna came up.
It was very nice.
It's an amazing spread.
Yeah. Isn't it a great spread?
Amazing.
And they were actually
we had
appreciative
breakfast and lunch.
I know.
And dessert.
We got everything here.
And
today.
liquor.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of Brooklyn here. We got the great Orchard Fruit House. We got Joe Ma Chocolates on Avenue R.
Oh, I love that place. Yes.
That place.
A lot of Brooklyn. We love Brooklyn still.
Brooklyn.
We still love Brooklyn.
We're considered Brooklyn.
Yeah. You don't sell Brooklyn. You only do Manhattan, right, Eleonora?
I have sold in Brooklyn, but I only do Manhattan. Yeah.
Right, but the Brooklyn you sell is basically Manhattan, like Dumbo.
And I really prefer to sell Manhattan.
Yeah, you do.
I grew up in. I'm a Manhattan girl. I grew up here. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is the
market?
real estate market now with
Not to bore everyone. It actually was last quarter was good. We ended the year probably with the 5th straight year of prices going up. But
really?
Yeah. But look, New York, Manhattan is probably the healthiest real estate market in the world. It's an island. There's a limited inventory. So supply and demand will always feed each other. But look, interest rates are high. Political climate was rough. I would say 2026 looks like wait and see. No one's really doing anything right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, this is a hard thing to say because I like selling, but I think it makes more sense to rent for a lot of people right now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you recommend to rent and not buy?
Look, I recommend to do what's best for your family and your finances. In terms of monthly carry,
Yeah.
it is probably more expensive if you are financing at 6%, carrying cost taxes in the city. Yeah, it's probably, home ownership is a nice American concept, but it eludes a lot of people.
Plus, I'm a white supremacist now.
Are you?
I own a home. According to Mom Donnie, I'm
Oh,
a white
wow.
supremacist.
Okay. Well,
I never thought I was. I thought I was a pretty decent guy, but I'm horrible.
I'm a Zio bigot. So
You're a Zio
we're
bigot,
all
right? And
in
we're all
this together.
Islamophobes. Mike is a horrible Islamophobe, by the way, the worst. Is that fair to say, Mike?
Yeah.
So how is your business? You've got the legendary Brennan and Carr, the best roast beef anywhere in the world. You've got with Donna. You've got the catering at the yacht club. How has your business been affected so far?
Brennan Carr's been incredible busy. We're going on our 88th year.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
they just keep coming and coming. The TV shows, we filmed the Man versus Food was there the other day for the second time. It's just, it's been great.
What is it about? You know, it's this little place on Avenue U and Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn, and your brothers are there, and they help you out, obviously, but you run the joint. What is it about? I mean, look, the roast beef is great, the cheddar cheese is great, and everything is great. What is it about that place, though, that for almost 90 years, people will travel from all over, not just Rosenberg, to go to Brooklyn for a cheese beef?
Consistency. I mean, it's just the same product. People can expect the same thing every time they come, and that's all they look forward. My father used to say that even if you don't want to be there, just sit and listen to the story.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a story.
They do.
My first date, I met a girl in a dining room. The story's just endless. 88 years. Sid.
88 years.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And there's a family business. All your brothers are
Yeah.
there, basically.
And Marine Park's a great area.
It is. Still.
Yeah, you grew up there.
Yeah,
you
no,
played
I-
basketball in Marine Park.
I was at Michael's restaurant in Brooklyn just last Thursday. I still go to Brooklyn all the time.
Yeah.
I still love Brooklyn.
Matter of fact, they had a thing on Facebook the other day. The famous peoples of Marine Park. You beat out Chris Mullin.
No, I didn't. That's
you
a
beat
lie.
out Chris Mullin.
Is that true?
You beat out Chris Mullin.
You know Chris Mullin
And
is
Jackie
Eleanor?
Hunter. And the great Jackie
Oh,
Hunter.
Jackie Hunter.
Sorry,
He was
what
on the-
paper was this in?
This was in, don't worry about what paper it's in. Don't ask any questions. I actually beat Chris Mullin. That's
You
a huge
beat Chris
thing.
Mullin
Do you know who Chris Mullin is, Eleonora?
I don't.
NBA Hall of Famer, but the greatest St. John's basketball player ever. You like
Okay.
sports. You're a big sports fan.
Am I?
No, I have no idea. Well, you go to MMA fights.
I know.
you-
By the way, I know I was here talking about an MMA fight. No, I like controversy.
That's it. You don't
and
really
I
care.
like sports players who are clients.
Right, you
And-
like that. She's all about the money.
but I think we
Larry
have a
David
good
was on
year.
that list. You beat him out.
I beat out Larry David.
He's from Sheepshead
Wow.
Bay. Yeah, nobody.
How about that?
That is a big deal.
Yeah, that is. Well, listen, I got to get to the
Okay.
singer, but I wanted to bring you both up.
Thank
Listen,
F-
Eleanor, you've
5
been
people
great.
asked me if I was a singer. I'm not.
I know.
That's
Mike
one
goes,
thing
"What are
I
you
cannot
singing
do."
today?"
I thought she was the singer.
Can you sing? Can you?
Absolutely not.
No,
You
okay.
never want me to sing. No.
Well, you've been
But
great.
thank you. Sid, you've been great. I
Thank you.
appreciate your ability to think critically. And I love everything about New York, and you are a New York institution. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's very nice. Thank
Yeah.
you, Eleanor. That means a
Thank
lot to
you.
me. Thank you, Michael. Your family been a long time. Donna, you too. I love you. Gaby loves you. Gaby ran over like you guys are just so nice to us. And I remember those trips during COVID. We'd go from Manhattan to Breezy to come see you. It was great. Nobody on the road. We got to your house in like 35 minutes. I actually missed the days of COVID on the road. But we'd sit out there on the beach all day and have laughs. And you help us get through that very difficult time. You guys more than anybody. So thank you
Nice
so
boat
much.
rides we had.
We had nice boat rides, yeah. I miss Tony Sirico,
So do I.
right? Of all the Sopranos guys, because he worked with the Sopranos,
He
Still
just
does.
told me.
No, yeah, he
Yes.
still does.
Very
And Stephen Van Zandt. I like Stephen Van Zandt, but he's been contaminated by Bruce Springsteen. It's a horrible thing. Oh God, it's so ugly.
Steve loves you. I got to tell you.
I love him too, but
when we're in the
I
car,
can't.
it's either his radio station or yours, and he lets me put,
I know he
put
does.
you on.
You can love each other and disagree.
No, we do. In fact, who said that earlier? My old partner, Scott Kaplan. But Sirico was the guy you were closest to, right? Paulie Walnuts?
And, I traveled to Iraq and Afghanistan with Jimmy and Sirico for the soldiers. They did everything. Not one bad guy on the whole show.
No.
They were great.
Well, you didn't know. You didn't like one guy. What's his name? The one that Tony took his head off.
Who?
You know what I'm talking. Ralphie.
Oh, no. Well, he didn't bother me.
Why?
Don't get me in trouble here. Don't get me in trouble. They're all listening. I heard the great Steve Sharippa on the air before.
I'm only kidding.
I know.
We love you, Mike. Thank you so much for stopping
you
in today.
too,
Donna,
Sid.
thank you so much. I love you
Thank
too.
you.
Eleanor, you too.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break. Norman Seabrook met you at WABC, your daughter, very sweet girl. And you were running the prisons, I believe, at the time.
That is correct.
And you are back here in New York. Had a little bit of a camp stay. A lot of my friends go to camp. It's not that it's not a big deal for me, just so you know. But you went to camp for a little bit. You're back now, and how is life for you these days?
Life is good, Sid, and I just want to thank you and thank WABC for what you do for the people of the city of New York, because I think it's important. The people of the city of New York don't know how important your voice is. Yeah. And when you talk about the Holocaust and things of that nature, that's why when I was in office, I made it mandatory for all managers to go to the Museum of Tolerance on 42nd Street so they get the opportunity to know what Jews actually went through during the Holocaust, and it gives a better relationship with people. And I think that's the target that you're hitting.
The last time, not to patronize you, Norman, but the last time the prison system was run well here, I got to think it was under your watch. It has not been a great time since you left that position. What are your thoughts on that very important job right now?
I think that it's very important that the system is run properly, because when you're talking about spending $14 billion to build facilities throughout the 4 boroughs of the city of New York, spending taxpayer dollars when you have homeless people dying on the streets of New York, that really doesn't make any sense to me. So I open an invitation to the newly elected mayor of the city of New York. I'd be happy to give him any advice I possibly could to make the system that much better.
And you don't like him. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. No, but, I mean, at least the text you and I have had, you're not a big fan, but, you know, there's a bunch of people somewhere here today that are not necessarily big fans, but they love the city more than they dislike the mayor. You see, with President Trump, for example, you see the Democrats, they hate Trump more than they love America. You know that.
That is true.
In this case, you and a couple of other guys here, you love the city more than you dislike Mamdani. That makes you a great American. So you may not agree with the guy, may not love the guy, but you're saying, call me, I'm available.
Absolutely. To make this city run better, to make the country better, we have to come together. And I think it's part of the messaging with the Republicans that they have to get the right messenger to go out there to give their message, because a lot of people just look at the outward of a person as opposed to the inside. And I think that the Republicans have a lot to offer when they start talking about no tax on waiters and no tax on bartenders and being able to get something done. I think that the president is on the right track. It is unfortunate that people don't hear the message that he's doing, but it's up to people like you to keep the message out there.
Last one. You're obviously you're a great-looking guy. You're very, very smart, and a lot of New Yorkers like me love you. You know you for a very, very long time, but you did go away a little bit. So what is that? What is life like now in terms of getting a job, other opportunities? It's unfair because we can talk about your case all day long, and a lot of you folks are probably familiar with it. Either way, you did what you had to do.
Right.
And again, you're a very bright, sharp guy. What is it like now, trying to survive after what you went through?
I think it's a matter of being able to be encouraged by my own words and my family and my wife and my children. I'm not worried about so much what somebody else says, because they say, who is without sin, let them cast the first stone. So I'm doing well. I'm healthy. I look good, like you said.
You
I
look
feel
great.
good.
You're a good-looking
And,
guy.
Am I really?
Yeah, you're a very handsome man. I'm trying to be your color.
Here we go. Here we go.
How am I doing?
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah. No, you are. You present yourself so well. You really are.
But
And you're a very nice man.
But you look, it's tough. I'm not going to say it's not. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't watch the grass grow under my feet, and I don't go, poor me. It's get up, do what it is that you have to do, get back on the horse, and do what it is that's necessary to be done, and continuously try to help people like Blakeman become governor of the state of New York, so that we can change the dynamics of things. Because Mr. Blakeman started a program out in Long Island with Jason Williams, former NBA player, and it's called The Road. What is it? The roads that he does is Rebound, and they have these kids learning track the trailers, and that's all Blakeman's thing. So he's giving everybody an opportunity. But I just want to thank you for what you've done, what you're doing, and keep up the great work. You got 10 more in you. I see your son is looking at the stage, and he's going, I could do this too.
Yeah,
you know?
take it easy.
And let
Calm down.
him and his
Not
buddy
yet.
Chris do their thing.
Yeah, thank you, Norman. You're terrific. Thank you very much for your
Thank
terrific
you.
message
Thank
today,
you.
too. Gonzalez, let's get you up here. We're running low on time. We're going to wrap up. Norman Seabrook was terrific. Wrap up this great 7-hour extravaganza. Ghazal Mizrahi again, parents from Iran. They escaped during the revolution. She lives on Long Island. She's on Great Neck. She's an international singer. She's going to sing John Catsimatidis' favorite song today, God Bless America. With that said, Ghazal, take it away.
Thank you, Sid. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America. God bless America. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Give it up for Sid.
Sid and Friends in the Morning presents Sid Rosenberg's 10th anniversary show.